get to hide those piggies. What's wrong with you, Jake? Why are you so scared?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you are having a wonderful evening tonight. Yes, indeed. Tonight we have to embrace the psyop just a little bit. At least this one's good, okay? This one's a bit of a banger. Hope you're all doing well, having a great Wednesday evening. It's Wednesday, my dudes. And we've got lots of fun stuff to talk about, dude. They decided to wait till the middle of the week, 3 days before I leave to SHOT Show, to drop basically all of the fun stuff. I mean, it's 1908 again, and we got the Maxim back. Water cooling LMGs are back on the menu, apparently. Cool concept. All right, you're going to sell like 14 of them, but I think it's really cool. Palmetto State Armory trying to make a couple things. Yeah. We've heard that all before. A couple new guns. Hollow Sun went even bigger. Night Force decided to make a new optic in 2026, or a whole new line of optics, some of which are actually pretty neat. A few wacky little things to go off. Oh, yeah. Carl, of course, being a wacky little boomer, which is fun. And then we have peak boomer, peak liberal boomer cringe. And we've got a lot of it. So that's what we're going to open up with tonight. But before we get to that, Richard, how is your evening going, sir?
What? Carl being cringe again? What? Oh, shocked Pikachu
Dude,
face.
I guess he ran out of cringe because the original post is from 2024, and he was like, you know what? Fire this banger, back up. It's 2026. Shoot it off. Let's go, baby. How's your Wednesday been going, though?
Marvelous. We've gotten like a foot of snow today, just within the past like 8 hours. So it's wonderful.
Wow, that's fun. We didn't get snow here, but it had a cold snap. It went from like 53 yesterday to 25 today.
Yeah, that happened here, and then the snow just started pouring, and it went from rain to freezing rain to snow, and then a foot of it. So lovely stuff.
I mean, honestly, I prefer the snow to just cold, but yeah, if you actually have to go places, or if your roof
Yeah,
is having a
it's
little bit
supposed
of
to
a
be.
leak, it's maybe
Yeah.
it's a little less fun.
Yeah,
But no, the
leaking
government
roof.
may not. The government may not think so, but I think you make the right choices in that game, Anon. True. Yeah, do it for Amelia, okay? All right. State sponsored, goth, racist, baddie. What else do you want? Okay. What else do you need in life, really? But today we're all Amelia or something gay like that. I thought this would be fun to start off with. So you guys remember Private Kearns, of course. Well, in case you don't remember, let me go ahead and refresh your memory. It is this mammoth of a man, this soldier, large man in charge. You know, gets in a little bit of trouble for shilling while in uniform, trying to make money off of his service, dodging deployments, as you do. Just a corn-fed, cornbread kind of tard. A little bit of a sad backstory, but you know, don't let that stop you from a bit of the funsy. So he famously had to get a profile, go on profile to get out of a deployment, right? So that made people really upset. So here he is demoing his PT, which the video is pretty hilarious. Not to mention the comments that he decided to post on his own Instagram. He was like, you know what, y'all? This is fire. I need to motivate y'all out there. So here you go. Watch this. No. That's not Trench's baby brother. This is a big man. It's a big man. Josh is asking for my DD214. You would ask to see the D. Josh, we're 7 minutes into the stream and already asking gay questions, but also I'm far too intelligent to go into the military, unlike some Josh. No, I'm just kidding. I love Josh.
What?
Yeah, as one of the commenters pointed out, it's weird seeing an adult man run for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, just straight up gazelle running right there. Just he's like, I think this is how it does, right? This is an alien who sees humans run and he gets beamed into a body and he's like, I think this is what you do. You like lean forward and lift up your feet, right?
Does
like
he
that's
have kneecaps? Like,
do those things bend? No. There's 2 minutes of this, okay? This is hardcore. Remember, I think he failed a PT or he got out of doing PT due to his profile, something like that. So he had to post this to prove his haters wrong.
I want that on a loop.
Now, the terrifying thing is this guy's huge. Remember, he's like, I forget, he said like 6'5", 6'6". I think he's maybe like 6'3" or something like that, but he's still like north of 250 pounds. All right. So if you're a 5'5" Chinaman and you see like this right here running at you, just know that you've walked your last dog. Okay. It's over for you. When you see this guy running at you with an E-tool, it doesn't matter how stupid he looks. He's gonna eat you. Okay. There's a lot of calories in the human body, especially his body.
I just want that first 10 or 15 seconds to be turned into a meme template, and I want you guys to send in your memes because I think that would be hilarious.
Oh no, he's very scary. Oh no.
Let's go, Let's go. You almost there. Straight back, come through the zone.
He's still going. He's still getting it on. Now, this is funny because you're supposed to
he's doing it
shuffle.
wrong.
He's going to get called out for it. You're not supposed to cross your feet. You're supposed to shuffle, right? So like we did this in baseball practice, or lots of sports do this, right? To get your lateral movement speed up, right? So you're going to shuffle down, you're going to shuffle back, right? Not supposed to cross your knees. You're not running sideways, you're shuffling, all right? Students of violence in the house says, I try not to make fun of Special Olympics events, but that's the thing, right? It's like this is a adult man in the U.S. military, right? It's if this were Special Olympics, this wouldn't be funny. This would be like, oh, you know, they're doing their best, right? Good, but this is on paper a soldier, right?
Agree to disagree.
It's basically running forward, but just dragging a leg. Like that's all he's doing is keeping one leg back and just running forward. So this is his third set there and back, right? Or fourth set there and back. And he's already like done, tapped out in terms of cardiovascular capabilities. See, now, if you're in the military and you joined like this, that would be one thing, but he's several years in at this point, right?
And he still looks like he's running in his dad's shoes.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Like, I feel like this is fine if this were a starting point, but not as like a several year. And now I'm sure that the fitness standards for reserves or National Guard is a lot lower, especially depending who you're under.
As we've seen.
You know, yeah. But his run it's actually better the more tired he gets. It's slower, but the form is better.
Right. That's what I was. It was odd that he didn't bend his knees at all whatsoever in the beginning. Was that part of the technique? I'm not sure if that was intended, but like he's at least bending his knees now. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Also,
I will give him credit.
It's on my mind.
He's at least out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing it right, which is if this is a starting point, that's fine. But you know, you're 2-3 years into your military career already. I feel like a little bit behind the curve. Students of Violence for $10 says 10 to take the sting out of the YouTube grape tax. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. In Vegas early for the Night Ops Summit. Hope to see you next week. Maybe grab a cider. Lewis, yeah, you have my phone number. I'll be getting in Sunday night, I want to say, and I'll be there all week till like Saturday. So if you want to hang out, grab a cider or something like that, I'd be happy to do so, Lewis. Appreciate it, man. Hope you're having a good night out there. But that's basically it. But as we've covered this guy a little bit, I thought we'd start up with something a little comical. All right. We're gonna read some of these comments though together, okay? Matt says, this might be the most sincere and honest thing I've ever said in my life. That was the most atrocious, uninspired, and unathletic performance I have ever seen from a soldier. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Bonus points to that commenter for the movie reference.
Formerly Taylor says, never seen someone run for the first time before. That's what that looks like, right? When we're watching this looks like somebody who is 25, 26, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is how you do it, right? The fratty guard. Oh, wow, you decided to post this. Yeah, nobody forced you to. This is not satire. Take this down so that our adversaries don't get a hold of elite training footage, please. First day with the new legs. How you passed basic training is beyond me. The first thing Maduro saw during the raid, this and Tim Kennedy. True, dude. I need to get an edit of them side by side running into the Maduro complex. Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, keep up the good work. And I'm glad that you've lost a lot of weight, but you got a long ways to go, right? Especially as somebody who wants to be a idyllic U.S. soldier, right? And that's kind of what he prides himself on. I mean, here he is doing all this stuff, going through everything, and you know he wants to be an uplifting man. He wants to, you know, inspire people, and he just got a little ways to go. So here he is. He's working in his off time. That's good. That's what we want to see. Hey, come in, babe. So we got him here. He's doing his runs in his off time. Very good. Right? That's what you want to see. He's working hard. He's putting in the extra time. This one here was the original post that he posted. And then this is a follow-up. So I hope that he continues on with his improvements, and maybe in a year's time or so he'll be fully accustomed to his new legs. You never know. You never know. Babe, yeah, no, look at this. Mid-stream delivery of an ice cold Diet Dr. Pepper. Just what the doctor ordered. That's what I let the wife out of the basement for a minute, okay, so that she could come up and bring me a little snack. Or not even a snack, just a little bit of a refreshment. But we're done with the comedy, okay? Or maybe not. Maybe we're not done with the comedy. Maybe it's about to get even funnier. You don't know. I don't know, honestly, right? In Range TV, Carl Casarda, of course, former associate of Russell Fagan and Ian, of course, from Forgotten Weapons. So he's been on a little bit of a rampage this last, I mean, just look at this wall of text, right? A lot of you are indeed not going to read all that. Do I still have that clip around, or did we get rid of that clip?
I think that one's gone.
Yeah, we probably got rid of, we have so many clips, but how about this one? Yeah, that one. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in, but we're going to go through this. I'm going to force you guys, whether you want to or not, honestly, we're going to go through it together because I think it's very important for us to delve into the psyche of the mildly leftist libertarian individual, right? Not sure what he is. Maybe Carl's not sure what he is. Maybe we'll help him together, huh? Or see what we can do. Anyways. Oh, little bigger. All right. So I wrote this in 2024 and shared it selectively in places where I felt like there was value to do so when being overtly misrepresented, which I feel happens regularly. I've decided to post it more publicly, so here it is, along with the link, which you are free to share if you are so inclined. Thank you, Carl. So Carl posted this in 2024. So I'm not sure if this was election season or whatnot, but yeah, he wrote this tome to people to kind of, I guess, call out the polarization or the people being angry with him about his politics, and his politics haven't gotten any better. And, you know, I use the word politics. You could call it worldview. You could call it something else. Whatever word that you choose to use, I'm sure is fine. But maybe worldview would be more appropriate, right? But we've seen in the most recent Wired article where he's, you know, talking about how we need a more inclusive space, how he's been kicked out of ranges for his, you know, trans gay agenda, and how we should, you know, he supports people who say things like, we should kill people who don't support trans rights or something like that, which is just, you know, maybe people like me have a little bit of a problem with that when you know, ostensibly threaten us. But let's go through this tome together, shall we? What are my politics? The world is my country. All my mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion. Which is pretty standard Enlightenment tropes. Excuse me, I'm allergic to cringe. Okay, I'm sorry, but this is standard Enlightenment tropes. Nothing too special. The world is my country. We've seen this movement, the citizen of the world, right? We're all world citizens, which is, it always ends up being like really gay and lefty and like, oh yeah, we need to like reduce first world birth rates and, you know, give away all of our stuff and, you know, make sure the world doesn't burn while driving around in private jets and something like that, right? And also we like do weird things to kids behind the scenes, but you know, that's just a weird byproduct of our ideology. What are your politics? What are your politics? Who did you vote for? You're a commie ad nauseum. I mean, you do sympathize with commies and you hate people, you know, famously the Finnish gentleman, right, who fought commies. Right, you were very upset that Ian would even choose to associate with somebody like that, a historical figure, right, from Finland, which it would seem to support the idea that you do like commies or are in some way entangled in their ideology, right? The people that you choose to hang out with, the people that you choose to support, right? There's maybe little breadcrumbs here and there leading us to what your total worldview might be. For a decade now, experiencing the surreal state of being a micro celebrity, I have been asked and pleaded with for what my quote unquote politics are. I mean, he was relatively popular for a long time. I'm not sure how, you know, relevant he is this day. He's kind of lost some of his shine, so to speak, as his politics have become a larger part of what he does. I mean, He says like, wow, people are so politicized. They want to know my politics. They want to know my politics. I mean, like, you can just go to his about section that he puts on his public YouTube page, right? Which is where most of his views come from, right? And it's going to say like, oh yeah, I, by the way, explicitly focus on like oppressed minority, LGBTQ plus representation and all this other stuff, right? So it's like, well, you're spouting the normal party lines, the normal communist dribble, right? Whatever race and gender politics are out there. So, I mean, yeah, we can kind of assume anyways, based on the evidence that you're giving us, that you have these sort of ideals. You know what? What team did I choose? What flag designed by someone else long ago did I associate with? This is like the don't box me in crowd. I'm a free thinker, all right? You can't put me in your box, old man. This is like teen hippie rebellion phase, but for a mildly overweight mid-40s man. It's a little cringe. I hesitate to reply to these requests as well as the assaults, as I don't think that such a thing can be defined by the simple context of a word that was codified by quote-unquote powerful people who died well before even my birth, and likely your birth as well. That's right. We don't need to hold ourselves to the ideals or traditions of the past. We don't need to look to them to see what happens. Like, what is this? The Maoist revolution where we needed to get rid of the four olds, right? I mean, this, we just need to free ourselves from the chains of oppression, of tradition, and of morality, and of these people that just had these ideas that were so old in these dusty books. I mean, come on, we're so much beyond that. We've progressed so far. Should you align with this fraud or that fraud? Which one of these binary choices anger you the least? It's also coming from a very submissive place, right? He's trying to avoid confrontation when he could just be honest. Which one lies to you the most persuasively with the more silver of tongues that they supposedly have your interests at heart? Which one speaks to the causes you've been told to believe in? Time and time again, we see the vast majority of subjects bemoan the choices given to them, and then, even more disturbingly, bow to the realities of the subsequent result. So that sentence is somewhat nonsensical, or this paragraph here in the middle. Time and time again, we see the vast majority of subjects bemoan the choices given to them. Well, yeah, I think everybody recognizes that the choices that we have, especially if we're talking about the political realm, usually our representatives, the ideal is that they're supposed to be the best of us, better than us, more well-trained than us, more educated, wiser, better, less self-interested. But that's obviously not the way that it ends up in reality, as power tends to not attract the best people. And then even more disturbingly, bow to the realities of the subsequent result. Well, part of human nature there, my friend. Well, here we are. Finally, the time that I have decided to reveal to you my politics. So all of that preamble, that meaningless dribble to say, well, here's what I actually believe. And spoiler alert, it's more meaningless dribble. It's simple. My politics are freedom. Freedom to what? Freedom from what? Like, freedom on its own is a term that everybody uses, right? But freedom isn't necessarily a good thing in and of itself, right? You might not want a psychopath to have unlimited freedom, right? You don't want him to be liberated, mind, body, and soul, right? We want restrictions on the worst of human excesses, right? The worst of human nature. So just freedom as a value doesn't mean much, because we've seen what people do with freedom, right? The freedom to what? Mutilate their children? I don't think we should have that freedom. The freedom to what? Prostitute yourself out at 16 years old? I don't think we should have that freedom. So just freedom, this generic term. Yeah, I just disagree with you right from the get-go. Liberation of human mind, body, and spirit. You see, freedom is the most dangerous of politics. When one is dedicated to it, the facade of all the lives become almost unbearable burden. You have been lied to all your life. We have been the targets of constant indoctrination and marketing campaigns so powerful that they would have been incomprehensible to the most despicable propagandists only 70 years ago, hell, 10 years ago. I don't even know what he means. Like, we can go back and look at the post-World War Weimar Republic, okay? If we want to see some really terrible, despicable propaganda going on, we can go back even further than that to uh, pre-revolutionary war in America. You can go back to propaganda, back to ancient Greece if you really want to, right? I mean, Aristotle talks about a lot of these problems between the people voting and representatives and how it's ideally supposed to work. So this is just nonsense recency bias. And I don't, he's not even being specific here, so it's hard to counterpoint an exact example. I'd also keep in mind that, I mean, he was a Satanist. So when he talks about unbearable burdens and you've been lied to all your life and constant indoctrination, you know, maybe not the best ideology to be representing that idea. To truly commit yourself to the politics of freedom. Again, it's like, what if I said, I truly commit myself to the politics of defense? And you'd be like, what does that mean? I don't know. I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to defend my ideals, like my people, my country, my nation, my own resources, or like some collective good, some individual good. Like, what are we defending here, right? So the politics of freedom. And again, I think we know what Carl's version of freedom is, right? It's trans children surgeries. It's a maximum abortion. It's maximum sexual degeneracy. It's bestiality. It's furry. It's pedophilia. It's all of these things wrapped together. All right. So yeah, I just disregard that wholesale. You must make hard choices and stand by them. You must be willing to be mostly lonely, the lonely hero. Until you can find a small handful that other truly committed, until you can find that small handful of other truly committed freedomites. Now, I think he means sodomites, but again, freedom and sodomy to him are the same thing. They're one and the same, right? I think that's really what it comes down to. The reality is most people don't want freedom. Most people do not want freedom. That is correct. Most people want security, safety, and peace. For sure, right? But even more intellectual people understand that freedom bears a burden of responsibility. So even freedom in and of itself is not truly free. We still have responsibilities to freedom and to one another. Don't even want freedom. They can't even comprehend it. They've likely never experienced it. Listen, I think a lot of people in the chat have not experienced whatever it is that you're putting out here. They've likely never experienced it. They use that word freedom along with so many other politically charged words, which they also do not actually understand. That's right. The leftist truly understands the words. You know, you're not media literate, all right? You're not politically literate. You need me to lecture you because you, little man, simply don't understand what these big old words mean. As an excuse to subjugate themselves and their world to the hands of others who will give them that freedom. Freedom cannot be given, nor is it granted. It must be seized. I wonder what he would say to people who like freed the slaves. Freedom can't be given. I can give, like I have children, right? I can give them the freedom to do certain things for sure. Nor is it granted. It is definitely granted as well. And it's definitely not always seized, right? Because even from his paradigm, which is so retarded, right? He believes that he has the moral responsibility to grant freedom, to give freedom to the oppressed people, right? That's one of his core tenets. Because these people are too poor, too stupid, too oppressed, too disabled, whatever it might be, to take freedom, to seize freedom for themselves. Because what he's saying here, this sounds like survival of the fittest, right? He who can seize freedom deserves it, and everybody else, not so much. Earned, thirsted, and longed for. Freedom requires that. See, look, that he follows on with freedom requires, right? So I say freedom, true freedom, comes with duties and restrictions. And he's also adding on a requirement to freedom, right? So neither one of us is some true freedom absolutist where there is no responsibilities attached to freedom, right? Because even in his leftist paradigm, right, whatever it might be, however he wants to define it, freedom still has requirements for him, right? On that we agree. Freedom requires that we speak out for those who need it most and leverage our place and privileges, right? So we already have the gay race politics are back, whatever they may be, in the interest of all human liberation. But even that can't happen because, again, as you mentioned, normal human nature doesn't want absolute freedom. It's not a thing. Battle Rifles for Two says, I met Carl. Trust me, he's just a nerd. I know, but it's one of those, like, it's like you're a drama kid, right? You go, it feels really emotional. You get it out. And then the rest of the crowd looks at you like, that's kind of cringe. This would have gone really hard in high school, right? As like
the rest of the crowd looks at you literally like,
oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah. What do you think about that, Richard?
that pretty much summed it up for me.
That's it? Nothing else?
Yeah.
I'm trying to take a drink here, so I need you to fill the dead air.
Oh, no, I'll fill it for you. I think he's a few bricks shy of a load. Elevator doesn't go all the way to the shop.
All right. Yeah.
He has serious mental issues that have continued to get worse, and he thinks that obviously this is the way out for him.
Yeah. Swoo says leftists be like, we was actual patriots and shit. It's like, I love people. What is it? Is it the John Brown Gun Club? Is that the one where they're like, oh, he would hate ICE and he would totally fight for us on our side. I'm like, what do you think he thinks about abortion as a Christian man? You think he would side with you, freak? I doubt it. X'd out there, good sir. All right. Well, that was
why
Carl
did he
cringe.
recycle this? Like,
dude, I know.
why?
He was like, this was in 2024. He must be like slow content week, slow news week. It's January. You feel like you need to, maybe it's more political right now, right? With everything going on. So he thought he needed to put his white male opinion out, because he needed to for the oppressed people that are just too dumb and stupid to have their own opinions or to seize freedom for themselves, right? So part of his requirement from his paradigm is that he has to speak up for them. So
it has to be all of the ICE stuff going on that spurred it on. That's
Carl is out of material. Yeah. Is running a little thin these days. All right. But we've got more to talk about. Okay. Because Battle Rifles, he sent me this right before the stream started. And I think this is perfect. Okay. So I've never heard of this channel before. This is Hawk's Firearms Recommendations from Hawk's Podcast. Has 680,000 subscribers. But before we get into the video and sort of like what we're dealing with here, I just want you guys to pay attention to this, okay? So let's just look at his videos real fast. American cowards, ICE agents hide their faces because they are shameful and inadequate, right? So kind of the old lefty boomer mindset, right? Of, oh, show your face so we could dox and kill you. Please. 1.3K views. No, but
1 hour, 2 hours.
Richard, look how many videos are in the last 10 hours.
Yeah.
It keeps going. Within one day, we have 12 videos. He is live posting his life on YouTube. He is, what are his protowns? What are his protons? He, him, his are his pronouns. Okay. So it's like, you're just a normal person, dude. You don't need to put your pronouns in there. You're not special. You're just normal. All right. And you feel that's inadequate for some reason, but you're just normal. National Guard versus ICE. Stephen Miller will probably go to prison in 3 years. Why hasn't Jonathan Ross been charged? Of course, the ICE agent who defended himself against Renee Good. It just came out today, just before the show, that he allegedly had internal bleeding. Now, personally, I'm skeptical of both sides on this a little bit because, of course, it makes it look much better for ICE and for Jonathan if he has some sort of injury from the altercation. Did he actually have internal bleeding? Maybe, maybe not. I can't speak to that 100% one way or the other. But again, that is kind of something they're sliding out there to kind of, I guess, ease some people in the middle. Because, I already thought it was justified. All right. You don't need to make even more justified. Blue state governors wake up. Jonathan Ross is cooked. Again, this is him basically threatening the guy. Jonathan Ross's life as a free man is over. This is what, and then he has the audacity 6 hours later, sorry, to say, you're a coward for not showing us your face. You're a coward. Anyways, your life is over because we know who you are. About the midterms, prosecution, ICE agents are terrified of backlash because of people like you. Bait, pardon the J6 pipe bomber, Clinton's defy subpoena. But let's take a look at this video, because this is like what the videos actually are, okay? And this is like a big channel. He gets a couple videos that do like, this is 97K, that's big numbers, okay? But most of them are in the single digits, with every now and again you get one like 84, 120K. So some of them do big numbers, but there's just so many. He's just algorithm maxing right now, okay? He's like, whatever thumbnail and title and topic that it is, like, I'm shooting everywhere, okay? I've got nothing better to do. This is it. But the quality of the video is literally just this. Now, this is from 2 days ago, which is like 25 videos back or something. Hey, Fud King, hope you're doing well. Hawk's Firearms recommendations, handguns, shotgun rifles, 4 guns I actually own. Now, everybody in the chat, all right, I need you to guess what handgun he recommends. You already know it.
Boris.
You already know it. No. It's the gay one, okay? If you get made fun of for being gay, it's because you have this handgun, all right? What is a well-to-do liberal gun owner own, okay? You know what it is.
Easy.
You know what it is. I can't... Guys, come on. You're all wrong. There you go. Some of you get it. Some of you get it. There it is. There it is. You know, it's a CZ, of course. But we'll let him, in his own words, get this out.
I am going to try something, and I'm going to put this video on my backup account because I already have an account ban warning on my main account. But in this video, I am going to recommend 4 firearms for these times: 1 shotgun, 1 rifle, 1 semi-automatic handgun, and 1...
So again, keep in mind, he's talking to his liberal, I'm going to guess, I don't have access to his analytics, but I'm going to guess very boomer, average age 45 or older audience. And this is what he's going to be recommending to them for these trying times where we have fascist ICE and Trump taking over our cities.
revolver handgun. The 9mm handgun that I recommend, that I own, is a CZP01. C like cat, Z like zebra, P-01. I hate Glocks.
Dude, as soon as Chud said it, Restards will carry anything other than a Glock. And he's like, I love CZ. I hate Glock. I don't like plastic. I don't like plastic in my hands. I like rock hard black steel in my hands.
Is a CZP01. C like cat, Z like zebra, P-01. I hate Glocks because Glocks are made out of plastic. I don't like that. I think Glocks are dog shit. The
Really?
CZP01, top to bottom, front to back, side to side, is all metal. It is a
It's metal. Czechoslovakian. It just fits my hands. It makes my hands feel nice. Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Some of you guys hate Glock. Selling your SPO1. Yeah. Now listen, as a Shadow CZ, 2 owner, whatever. It's a little sad that I get outed this way, that I get combined with these guys. Yeah, Lost Arrow. He already sold the CZs. He knew this video was coming out and was like, listen, buddy, I can't be associated with you anymore. I don't want to play with you anymore, okay? The liberals came for my Shadow. Shut up. No, I don't, Shadow Force. I own a Shadow 2, which is much better than SPO1. SPO1s are fake and gay for boomers who like CZ75s. I like competition handguns that happens to be a CZ, okay? All right, it's fine. Now I just pissed off everybody who likes CZ75s. But that is, just just look at the sheer amount of content this man puts
Can we
out.
go back like a year or two and see if it's the same thing?
Well, we're only at 5 days, 8 days,
Oh
2
my
weeks. Trump is losing MAGA, reckoning, gun control. What do his live podcasts do? That's what I want to know. We're only a month back, dude. Dude,
Put out so much
content. Okay, this is what I figured though. His live streams get. Wait, what happened? 46,000 views, and then 443. How did that one get so many views? But yeah, they average like 7 on the high end for his live streams. But yeah, I mean, he's one of those. He's basically a news channel, right? Where he just puts out lefty Lolbert news, like just machine guns it into the algorithm, and then something catches and he's good, right?
I'm gonna start.
I'm sure
uploading
if we
12
looked at
videos a
his
day.
well, you might as well, honestly, if you can, because look at it, even just one day we have 12, 18, let's say 40, 80, 100, 200, 220, 235,000 views in one day, right? That's not to mention all of the other views that are getting videos in the backlog that are also getting views. So let's just double it. 500,000 views a day. Lot of views. A half
And he
million
said
views
this
a
is
day.
his backup channel.
No. I don't. He says he's putting it on his backup channel because he has a strike. Sometimes YouTube just hands out strikes, and for somebody who uploads so many videos, he has a lot of opportunities to get a strike. But yeah, so he makes $500,000 views a day, roughly. 15 million views a month, $4,000, $1 million, 60K. No, it can't be that high. Maybe it is that high though. Depending on monetization, he could be making like 20 to 30K a month, depending on monetization. So no, he's making at least $250,000 off of ad revenue.
And that's assuming that he doesn't have TikTok, Instagram.
I'm sure. Well, the videos are all vertical, so I think he probably doubles them up in other places.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that $250,000 on the low end.
Yeah. What's the rest of his boomer tier list?
Oh, I don't care. What's that, dude? We're already 45 minutes into the show, and we have a lot to cover. Okay.
A lot of them want to hear
right.
the other 3, so we
More.
might have to save that.
I saw Charlie Cox wanted more, so whenever the Cox speaks, I give it more. Okay.
The Slovakian 9mm handgun.
All right, I'm gonna skip. Do you guys care about freaking revolvers? Does anyone care about revolvers?
It's gonna be a 357, whatever it is.
One for almost 6 years. I absolutely love it. Revolver. So the 9mm magazine and handle, the revolver, you pop out the round thing and you put the rounds in the round thing and then you put it back in the round thing. A Smith & Wesson 357.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, it should be around $4,000 a million views, depending on your CPM, right? So for me, for my long form content, it's actually a lot higher because my average watch time is so high. I mean, my average watch time is like 45 minutes or something like that, right? It's ridiculous compared to normal content creators. But yeah, for short form videos, 15 million views a month, roughly speaking. Maybe that's high. I mean, it could be as high as 60K a month.
357 is the size of it's 357 Magnum. That's the size of the round that loads in the round thing.
All right, let's see.
And
what
the specific model of Smith & Wesson, it's got a wooden handle that's fits perfectly in your hand. But in the round thing, in the cylinder, instead of taking 6.
So yeah, the shotgun is a Mossberg 590 retro 12 gauge with a 8+1 capacity with a stendo tube. That's fine. Oh wait, does he have an ad spot in here?
+1. So you get 9 12 gauge shots with that thing. That brings me to my rifle recommendation. And I live in California. And so I have a rifle, and I also have a California legal AR-15 type rifle. California legal AR-15 type rifles are absolute fucking dog shit. You can get featured, you can get featureless. It's just fucking crap, man. It's just crap. However,
that's not true. Like you get a 10. He's boomer coping right here, dude. A 10 round capacity AR-15, even with a fin grip, is infinitely better than any lever gun or any other retarded thing that you're putting on there. All right.
And well, I'll put it this way. So this is what happens when you have a state government in California where there's a supermajority in the state house, the assembly, and there's a supermajority in the state senate, and there's a Democratic governor and a Democratic lieutenant governor. You have all of these politicians writing all kinds of legislation about guns, and almost none of them have ever owned or fired a gun. So they're writing all kinds of complex, complicated legislation about things that they know absolutely.
Now, keep in mind, this is your
Now
retarded...
apply that shit to business, dude. Jesus.
Well,
I
this
know
is
where
the-
he's going with this.
This is the thing, though. These guys will make this complaint that, oh, man, our Democrat politicians suck with our gun rights. Anyways, I have to keep voting for them forever. Not that Republicans are any better, okay? But I'm just saying, right? There's a difference between California and South Dakota, okay? There's a difference.
Nothing about, because it's like, you know, my California legal AR-15 is just, it's almost unusable, okay? But yet, the rifle that I'm going to recommend, a Springfield M1A or a Springfield M1A Scout, they're both phenomenal. They're old school. These were standard issue to U.S. Army during the Korean War. They're extremely heavy. They have a solid walnut stock, but they are magazine.
Yeah, dude. If Hop stays in Oregon for the next 10 years, yeah, their laws will probably be as bad as California's now, if not worse. Because California, Oregon, and Washington, they're vying to be the worst. Okay, they're trying to one up each other. All right, so what the heck did you say? We got an M1?
M1A.
Sniper rifles, basically. The M1A has a 22-inch barrel. The M1A Scout, which I own, has an 18-inch barrel. I'm seriously considering just picking up an additional M1A with a 22-inch barrel. But it takes a 10-round magazine, just like my California legal AR-15. It shoots a much larger bullet, albeit at a slower speed. The Springfield M1A and the M1A Scout both, the M1A Scout that I have shoots 308, a 308 round. It's about yay big.
All right, well, I'm not going to listen to the rest of the leftist dribble about firearms in California. That's about as insightful as a blind man's take on Picasso. Right. All right. Well, hey, we're moving on from libtards, from one thing to ICE stuff. We'll talk about this because this will be fun. All right. The ICE agent, after sliming some retard and then suing her widow for everything that she's got, as I just mentioned earlier, breaking the ICE agent who fatally shot Renee Good on January 7th in Minneapolis, Jonathan Ross, suffered internal bleeding to the torso following this incident, according to 2 U.S. officials briefed on his medical condition.
And
How
that
funny-
is very clever wording, because that could just be bruising, right?
Well, it suffered internal bleeding to the torso following the incident. I think they're trying to make it sound as bad as possible, right? They're trying to drum up as much sympathy for him as possible, which makes sense, all right? This is the good marketing move to do, okay? I would get, if I were Jonathan Ross and I already had like $250,000 in GoFundMe set up, I would get a PR team. I would get a marketing team, okay? I would keep somebody on retainer to tell me what to do to make sure that me, my wife, my kids don't have a horrible rest of our life, right? Let's get the public on our side, okay? That's what I would do personally. So it's a good strategic move from him to make it sound as bad as possible, regardless of the actual extent of any of his injuries. Now, some people were thinking that this was going to be like a game-changing event. You know, it's going to radicalize people. It's going to be the next George Floyd, or the George Foyd, as some people are dubbing it, but that just seems not to be the case, okay? And there's a very specific reason why this is not hit the same way for those people, even though, like, honestly, I don't know which one is more justified, George Floyd or George Foyd. Because, I mean, I think they were both justified, and I certainly don't think Derek Chauvin should be in prison for restraining a man in a way that he's trained to restrain them, and George Droid did die of a fentanyl overdose. That's in his autopsy report. Quite literally had a lethal dose, sorry. But yeah, so
12 nanograms per deciliter, I believe, was the autopsy report, and the average overdose is 3 to 4.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the dog goes to the kids. Hopefully the dog goes to the kids, or the quote unquote wife. Yeah, dude, I can't pronounce lethal dose. I have to do it really slow to get that out. I'm kind of retarded, but there's a reason why this hasn't hit the same way, okay?
I know y'all niggas gonna get mad at me for saying this, but the Minnesota lady, I really don't give a fuck about that white bitch dying. You know, where they got going on with the white bitch got shot in the face, that's none of our business. You know, just a white on white crime. You know, by the time we got a black woman got killed by police, nobody give a fuck. A nigga like me got killed, nobody give a fuck. Now, when it's a white
No, come on, man. You can't say that. It's different when it happens to a brown person, okay? They burned down parts of Minneapolis. They burned down buildings in honor of George Droid, okay, dude? He was trying to pass off a bad 20 to buy a banana, okay? He died of an overdose, all right? You guys did riot for it. But no, they don't care. They don't, like, this is the sad reality, okay? Is this woman threw away her life, her husband, her family, her void wife, right? Which I'm hesitant to call that a wife, but your person of interest for people that literally hate you. Like, if you were burning, they would not piss on you to put out the fire. They do not care. Thank you, Weekend Gunner, for the update. Thank you. I needed that. Appreciate that. But no, these people, these liberals, first they came for my CZ, then they came for my protest, and then they got themselves killed by running over an ICE agent. For people that hate you, that don't care. They're not going to give you the time of day. They don't care. You're not going to make a difference. But it's not all bad news, okay, gentlemen? For the first time in at least half a century. Now, I don't know if this is actually true, okay, but maybe a little bit of a white pill. For the first time in at least a half a century, the U.S. experienced negative net migration in 2025, according to a new report. Which is wild to think about, that the first time since Hart-Celler, basically, we've had negative net migration in 2025. Now, what they mean by negative net migration, if we take a look at the article here, is probably like, oh, we have like negative between minus 300,000 to minus 10,000 people for the year, which is nothing, by the way. Sorry, there's a bug on my wall. Is absolutely nothing, if it's true at all. Okay, but minus 10,000 people. Okay, we just need to keep that up for a millennia, and we'll be halfway there to where our population should be. And yeah, as John, no, I know, minus 10,000 when the previous admin let in 10 million. Yeah, John Brown points out that just means they're already here. It's very true, right? So while it's like, again, don't totally black pill. It's not the worst news in the world. This isn't the win that it sounds like, all right? We're getting rid of them. They're self-deporting. We've lost 1 million this year. I've seen that, like 2 million people self-deported. It's like, well, that's 2 million out of the previous 10 million is still a net gain of 8 million people, right? You know, they said that, okay, well, we're denying visa programs for 75 new countries. It's like, okay, that's cool. Is India on the list? No, of course it's not. No, we're still flooding Texas with Indian H-1Bs because tech bros in California or something like that. Yeah, I'm about to shoot the bug. It's slowly making its way over here, so it might get it in a second, dude. You might see a desk pop live in a minute. Bug should not be here. Now, talking about demographics before we get to some support really fast, I think, oh no, I forgot that we were going to talk about Hassan. I forgot that I had that slide pulled up. Can I even show this slide on YouTube?
I think this slide will be okay because it's semi-censored.
Is furry 2 R's or 1 R?
2.
It's 2 R's, okay. Collargate 2.0. Yeah, it means there. Okay, but before we get to that,
R is
I put a
fury, good sir.
Yeah, that's what. Well, I was trying to think. Which one is it? I don't want to say the other one. 2 R's. This is another thing that's just funny. Every time that I see these pop up, I always save these just because anytime somebody's going to say like, "Oh, dude, it's actually like look at white crime in this country or something." It's like white crime is significantly browner than I thought it would be. You know, that's the funny thing though, right? Is like the stats are so skewed one way. They're so skewed one way with false reporting. It's still like ridiculously awful, right? It's like, what was it? Was it 92% of all crime in Chicago is committed by black people? And then like the people that are quote unquote white committing crime in Chicago are actually people like this. And we see this all the time, right? Here's the Texas Public Sex Offender website. Very, very white, right? So anytime any liberal or lefty pulls up any stat about like, oh, well, whites are overrepresented on sex offender registries or anything, it's just all nonsense. Okay. It's all DEI hired. It's mucked up to obfuscate who's actually committing the crimes. They're all lying to you. Combined IQ of 73 on screen. That's
What
dirty.
is up with the name? Did were they trying to preemptive?
Innocent. I thought if I named my kid Innocent, the jury would let him off. Y'all. His name is Innocence. Oh, a Tyler Perry movie. Yeah.
Your Honor, he is innocent.
Yeah, Your Honor, convict him again. Okay. Convict him again. Ah.
I
All
can't
right.
believe it.
All right. Well, unfortunately for you guys, everybody who does not want to see the peak left, like what is Hassan? Hassan is the greatest thought leader the left has to offer, right? Destiny's currently embroiled in like, did he groom a lady? Yeah, kind of. Did he share underage nudes of a lady? Yeah, kind of. So whether you want to call him a pedophile or a groomer or whatever, I mean, he's already a cuck and everything else under the sea. So just whatever you want to call Destiny is probably true. Okay, Destiny's in some silly little legal hot water. Vosh is he's already a furry. What's the other word for it? Into like weird lolly horse porn type stuff, right? Just disgusting human being, and that only leaves the next thought leader the left has to offer, at least in terms of a social media presence, Hassan Piker. And yeah, it turns out that they're all gay furries, that they're just all gross, gay, retarded furries. Hassan's old deviant art profile, Hellboy Hassan, that's called foreshadowing, contains deleted comments he once left on furry accounts. I did not have Hassan being a furry on my 2026 bingo card, but here we are. So here you can see, oh gosh, I did not want to make that bigger. Nope, I'm not. I thought I was going to click on just that one image. And you can see that this is actually confirmed that this is his account. If you scroll down here, you can listen to the man himself say, oh yeah, this is my account on DeviantArt. I love this stuff.
I used to draw Warcraft characters. OG heads in here know. Hellboy Hasan used to draw Rikimaru. 9 yaşında bizim üç komşunun evine gidiyorum. Babası WoW bağımlısı oldu.
Anyways, and then he mumbles in some foreign language. Not interested. So, you know, when he was shocking his dog, Kayla, maybe that wasn't the worst thing going on in there. Maybe the dog was just letting out a cry for help because of some of the other things that people who happen to be furries tend to get up to. Yeah, maybe we need to send in the Delta guys to take out Kayla, okay? We're just going to extract her. Maybe we shouldn't allow these people to own animals, okay? Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, he's not helping with Turkish stereotypes, okay? Cockroach? I don't think he's into roaches. He's into something else, though, all right? So how is that for a starter? Checking in on our lefty liberals, and we have retarded boomers. Carl, who's in his own little world. Don't put him in a box. We got lesbians dying for people that hate them, and we got furries. So yeah, one side of the aisle is not doing so well. Not
Great
doing so
first
hot these
hour.
days. Great first hour, dude. Well, actually, we have two things we could get to before we get into support and then get into firearm news, because we do have a lot of fun firearm news to talk about. So how about other retardation? So yeah, a Secret Service agent just happened to give out, important details about JD Vance's security detail. As a Secret Service agent, mind you, this is highly don't do that. Please do not do that. Really stupid. And yeah, it's a little bit of a brownoid Secret Service guy, maybe a little bit of a lefty, maybe not a big fan of the current administration. Gets honeypotted once again by James O'Keefe. Okay, listen, this is exclusive. Okay, don't freak out. But I've actually discovered James O'Keefe's lineup of honeypots that he uses for these people. And I'm just going to say it. A lot of you guys in the chat, you guys would fold as well. Okay. So this is exclusive. You're only going to see this here, but this is one of the famous O'Keefe honeypots. Okay. And yeah, Secret Service agents, all sorts of people just folding left and right to James O'Keefe's elite lineup of honeypots. Okay. Yeah. Oh, also, I should mention that since people are bringing up Jake in the chat, I have a special one just for you, Jake. Okay, bud?
Get to hide those piggies. What's wrong with you, Jake? Why are you so scared?
Which reminds me, I need to give him a Vandalay, I think $50 for that, because he made that. But yeah, just a little bit of an oopsie. Little bit of an oopsie for this. But let's listen to this for a second.
Can I
Oh my gosh. So this is from James O'Keefe. Breaking: U.S. Secret Service agent assigned to VP at JD Vance leaks sensitive security information to undercover reporter. Escoto is a holdover from the Biden administration and stated that he voted for Joe Biden while expressing opposition to ICE and the Trump administration's immigration policies. I hate that ICE stuff. I feel like, the one place where you should have ideological purity tests is for your bodyguards. I feel like that's simple enough. Okay. Right. You would think
after multiple assassination attempts.
Well, that too, right? Especially since, we live in a very polarizing time. These people are literally designed to protect you. I feel like maybe a little bit of an ideological purity test would help them out. Okay. Thomas Escato, a current U.S. Secret Service agent on Vice President J.D. Vance's protective detail, was recorded on hidden camera providing an undercover journalist with sensitive security information, including protective formations, shift schedules. Yeah, this is what we change skiffs. This is where we're going, travel plans, and real-time locations. The Secret Service agent detailed how the vice president is physically surrounded, described multiple daily shift changes, and disclosed advanced security procedures. In addition to past movements, the agent revealed future travel plans, sometimes days in advance. Escoto even sent images from Air Force Two while on board with the vice president. You should not be texting a intimate partner while on a security detail. Okay, be like, oh, about to go see the president, lol, on Air Force Two, just getting off the runway, lol. Despite acknowledging that he signed paperwork prohibiting the disclosure of sensitive information, the Secret Service agent repeatedly shared details with someone he believed was a casual romantic interest. While the safety of the vice president and his family was always our top priority, what OMG recovered, which is just O'Keefe Media Group, raises serious questions about operational security, protocol, compliance, and oversight within the U.S. Secret Service. So currently, Thomas Escato has been placed on administrative leave with his clearance suspended and access to agency facilities systems revoked. I saw, was it Nick Fuentes that says this guy's a traitor, just kill him or something like that? Like, I mean, where you want to draw the line of being a traitor or a sellout, I mean, jail time, right? Certainly that's in his contract. It's like, hey, you violate this, you got to get held to this standard.
Yeah.
Can I see your badge again with your photo? You're so cute.
A current Secret Service agent on Vice.
All right. Listen, homie. If somebody's calling this guy cute, stop. It's a Fed, okay? It's a honeypot, all right? I know some of you guys in the chat, all right? If you look like this guy on the left, and she says, "Oh, you're so cute," she's lying to you, okay? She wants something, all right? All right, yeah, she's lying. Okay, she's lying, all right? You don't look like that, all right? You ain't no Henry Cavill, dog, all right? You ain't no Hop, okay? She's lying to you, bro.
President J.D. Vance's security detail.
When he's like walking, like where are you?
We'll have at least a minimum head and
Gives away vital high-level security information to our undercover journalists.
we have different shifts. We have shifts.
All right, so here's the thing, right? This is actually really simple. Homeboy really thought he was gonna hit. Like, listen, this girl has to. If it's not Amelia or better, okay, not worth it, bro. Not even worth it. But to make it really simple for you guys, what you say in this sort of situation is nothing, right? I feel like if you're a Secret Service agent, like your wife knows, maybe your kids know, but it's just not discussed. Like, oh yeah, it's really sensitive. I don't talk about my work, protocol. I just never talk about my work. Ever. Like, I feel like that's like day one on the job is like, oh, by the way, you never talk about this to anyone except maybe your wife knows that this is what you do, but nothing specific. I feel like that's just day one. But these retards are out here passing them off to their Tinder hookups. Really?
Tells her about detailed future travel plans for the vice president and even sends her pictures with
Yeah, just texting. Oh, by the way, hey, I'm going to be in Florida with the president for 4 or 5 days.
location metadata revealing where the president's convoy was located, potentially violating both the Secret Service NDA and United States federal law. And Tomas is fully aware of this. Quote, I signed paperwork, so if I don't...
Yeah, he's fully aware. This has to be part of OPSEC, okay? You're in one of the most sensitive positions in the world, okay? You are the bodyguard of the most powerful man in the world, okay? OPSEC, for you is like number one. There is no way that he doesn't get told this 100 times a year, okay? She offered to buy him a watch from GovX. And I mean, like, I don't know how much the average Secret Service man makes. I'm actually going to look that up. How much does the Secret Service
I'm going to guess $90,000 a year starting.
So
because they also deal with
it depends. It depends. So special agents can go up to 150K. Secret Service agents have a median of 93K. So that's the median. Yeah. However, the high is $500,000. So I don't know if that's like chief security guy, like the head honcho. That's like the top out. But okay, 6 figures isn't actually that much money.
Wait, so they're claiming the top guy gets $500,000 a year?
$500,000. Yeah.
That seems odd considering the president himself only gets...
Well, right. But the presidential salary is like symbolic, right? We don't... Like, nobody actually lives off of the presidential salary, like, ever.
Right.
So, like, at this point, it's symbolic. Maybe at certain points in our history, it's been like a real thing that the presidents actually use that to live off of. But anymore, the number is purely symbolic. Right. So, I mean, like, yeah, sure. If we do it on like a percentage of GDP, the president should make $10 million a year. Right. But I think, yeah, head of security for my team, I would want 6 figures to be like the starting wage, average like 200K, and then the top guy gets $500,000 to $1 million a year, right? Because it's a dedicated job. Like, especially as the head guy, your life is protecting the president. So I want you to be well paid.
So what do you think Dan Bongino was making?
As head of, or deputy, what was it? Was he co-head or was he deputy director of the FBI? He was just deputy, right?
Correct.
$250,000? Maybe. Do you have an exact number, or are you just going to make a guess?
I was just making you guess.
Tell me. So, yeah, Dan Bongino was Secret Service. Let me see. What is the deputy? Because I'm sure it's deputy director FBI salary. Because again, Dan Bongino doesn't need 105 to 178, so ballpark 150 roughly for deputy director of FBI. But Dan Bongino has income outside of his work, right?
Right. Yeah, he took a pay cut to
Basically.
do that.
Have to give out information. I never do, otherwise I get in trouble. You really have to stand in awe of the lack of self-awareness.
There you know, secret about what we do.
Tomas Escato also reveals that he voted for Biden and that he hates Trump and Vance's immigration policies.
Did you vote for Biden?
Yes, I did actually.
What do you think about like all the ICE stuff going on?
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
They're employing taxes that shouldn't be employed.
You may have seen reports last week that someone attempted to break into Vice President J.D. Vance's home in Ohio. That incident prompted us to take a closer look. What we found in our investigation was an agent inside the Vice President's detail who is actually revealing to a total stranger that the Vice President will be visiting his...
Average Roper. Hey, you take that back. That's funny. Yeah. They're just letting in anybody now, huh? Very strange.
Home in Ohio days ahead of time. And while what you're about to see is an important story, the security of the Vice President and his family is our top priority. Now, under normal circumstances, our editorial policy is to request comment a day.
Well, I mean, he's been in, somebody he asked how long he's been in the SS. Thomas has been in there at least since Biden. So if we're thinking, you know, beginning of Biden's term, end of Biden's term, somewhere between 3 and 5 years, I would guess.
Or two before a report airs. But in this case, we contacted the Secret Service a full week in advance of this report to ensure that nothing we report here would compromise the Vice President's safety in any way. But even with those precautions, what we uncovered is troubling, and we felt this is important for you all to see. We hope that bringing this to light strengthens security and helps prevent future vulnerabilities in our government.
Can I see your badge again with your photo? You said you were training. It was your training?
Yeah, that's like 4 years ago.
You're so cute.
We met Thomas.
Yeah, again, I feel like even the fact that you work in the Secret Service or what your specific detail is should be part of that private information that never gets out, right? Because even just if people know that you are protecting the president or the vice president or whatever it might be, if they know what detail you're on, like at large, right, and they can just look up whoever's working with the vice president, whoever's working with the main president, then they can, you know, use those as different vectors of attack for blackmail, for, you know, bribing, for whatever it might be, or honeypotting like is happening right here, right? So I feel like all of this stuff should just be secret, right, as implied by the name. And also there should be purges of non-ideologically aligned individuals like this guy obviously is, right? I mean, she sounds like she's pouring it on thick, okay? She's dripping with that honey. He's looking all smug. I'm about to get it. Oh yeah, this is going so well. She thinks I'm cute in my training photo from 4 years ago. Gained a little bit of weight since then. But this is going so well. I'm about to get it. Next step, fired. Yeah, this screen cap right here, dude. Can I see your photo? OMG.
On the dating app Tinder in October of 2025.
Yeah, of course it was Tinder. Of course it was. Your Tinder hookups. You're just blabbing to like the first 7 that comes across your Tinder profile.
The Secret Service agent is a holdover from the Biden administration. He was actually originally tasked with protecting Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff. In fact, he sent us this image from a Christmas party in December of 2024. There he is with Kamala Harris.
How did you get picked to do like...
All right. A little bit of history. Richard, what percentage of Roman emperors were killed by their own guards?
I'm gonna guess about 2%.
It's 30%.
Oh,
30%. It or at least for a period of time. So yeah, so when emperors would take power, it was very common to purge the people that came before or to give them more money, because what would happen too is somebody who wanted to be emperor would simply bribe your underpaid guards to take out the emperor and then become emperor, right? And this would just happen ad nauseum, right? This was a big issue within the Roman Empire, not so much in the Byzantine Empire with the Varangian Guard. But yeah, it's a big deal, okay? The people who protect you are a strong vector of attack, okay?
Vice president.
Not by choice, it's just they talk to you and they let you know, it's like, hey, eventually you're going to have to go down to DC.
Okay.
All roads lead to DC now in your career. So you can go to the president's detail, the vice president's detail, what we call counter surveillance division, so that's undercover stuff.
Note the irony, he's talking about undercover counter surveillance to a journalist wearing a hidden camera. Tomas Escato is often directly involved in the vice president's transportation to and from his residence at the Naval Observatory, surveillance of the vice president's residence, and even protecting Vance's wife Usha Vance and their children. Here he complains again to a total stranger he just met about his assignment involving J.D. Vance's children.
So what are his kids like?
They go to school with them.
Oh.
Yeah, we follow them everywhere. There's a 24/7, there is no black coverage. Not like there's a babysitter with.
Is he drunk or is he just slurring his words? Because it does actually deeply sadden me as an American that a man this stupid is given the task of protecting our supposedly most important people, which also happen to be pedophiles. Maybe again, the horseshoe there is that I actually don't care that they're hiring people in the world. But I mean, come on, okay? In an ideal world, all right, this person shouldn't be retarded.
It's a weird one that we always talk about, like, what the fuck is this? And you can't do nothing.
Oh, you can't do anything.
No, we can't do anything.
Tomas proceeds to give our undercover journalist detailed info with pictures about the specific methods used to transport and protect the vice president. It even tells her some exact time.
Okay, that photo actually does go hard though. Of the presidential SUV inside of the back of a plane. That goes pretty hard, okay? It's like deploy the convoy, okay? And it's just like a line of planes dropping off these up armored SUVs. It goes kind of hard, all right?
Tomas proceeds to give our undercover journalist detailed info with pictures about the specific methods used to transport and protect the vice president.
Yeah, and it's just it's all plain clothes, or I say plain clothes, but suited up Secret Service guys. Yeah, okay, it goes hard. It's a cool look.
President. It even tells her some exact times of shift changes on the Secret Service schedule.
So like when he's like walking, like where are you? Just following.
All right, also, any of you guys in a big corporate position, if there's a female love interest that is really prying you about the day-to-day aspects of your job, I'm gonna be real with you. She doesn't care. Like, okay, so where does the president stand? Where does the vice president stand? Who's guarding him? What are the shift schedules? Like how does that happen? What is the inner workings of that? All right. That's a Fed. Okay. That's some corporate espionage. All right. Not real.
It's a group of us, we surround, make a money.
Yeah.
We'll have at least a minimum head and now that I'm on the vice president's actual details, a little different because we have different shifts. We have shift.
Via text, J.D. Vance's Secret Service agent informs the stranger when he has picked up J.D.
If you will, what's the word that I'm looking for? If you will consult, that's the word. If you'll consult the text pulled up on screen, please. But Stratton's Brand says, what if this was a setup to purge him from the SS? I feel like you don't need that much of a reason to reassign somebody. So let's say he's ideologically not aligned with the current administration. Like, he can be assigned to somebody else. Like, he does not have to be on the vice presidential's team. He can be put somewhere else. That's what I would do. But yeah, I feel like that's something that maybe it's overlooked in American politics. But if it were me and it was a bit of a politically charged time and I'd already had several assassination attempts on my life, and we've had some Secret Service failings, notably in the Pennsylvania attack, where was it 2 women that were kind of just like running around with their heads cut off? I would look very closely and very intently at my security team and direct them to make changes accordingly.
Vance's wife, and even mentions that he and Vance are currently at. Tomas even sends a selfie from inside a J.D. Vance's residence at the Naval Observatory. It's basically a secure location while the Secret Service is surveilling.
I don't know if every one of those pics are technically felonies, but it's certainly a violation of his contract, right? And it might be if it's in national security interest, which, I mean, O'Keefe is bleeping it out. I'm not sure if the Secret Service asked him to bleep it out, but it is, it's hefty. He's gone one way or the other, okay? Yeah. This is the man protecting the most important man in the world. Yeah, and I mean, I wonder how many Secret Service agents fall under this category, right? It's probably multiple, if I had to guess. There's a lot of less intelligent people, let's say, floating around out there.
He does look like a little bit like Dan Bongino in that still.
He's like fat Dan Bongino, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not going to watch this whole thing. O'Keefe does really good work. Go ahead and check it out. And yeah, and just, man,
he was railroaded in his previous...
100%. 100%. Well, according to the tweet, he is, at least as of, when was this? Yesterday? This was yesterday. As of yesterday, he's on administrative leave. So not fired yet. He's on leave while they're doing an investigation. Could take a couple weeks. And then he has no security clearance, and access to agency facilities and systems are revoked. If I had to guess, he's at a minimum gone, fired permanently. He's never going to work in any sort of serious security again. Possible fines, maybe jail time. Maybe they want to make an example out of him and they go really hard. It's possible. Yeah. Well, I mean, they would send a message to everybody else in the security details. Hey, by the way, don't be a retard. Don't talk about your job to women. All right. You're not hired because of your good looks. You're hired to protect the president and to shut up. That's it. That's it. All right. Well, let's get to some of your guys' support real fast. And then we are going to talk about, what are we getting to, dude? I hate and I love this, okay, dude? We got water-cooled, belt-fed LMGs back on the menu. What year is it again? Doesn't matter. It's cool. Amrite Boy for 2 says, late and gayer than J. Edgar Hoover. Made a really good dam, though. Although it's not getting much use these days, unfortunately. Over on Ko-Fi real fast. Let's see here. We got Polly B for 50.
Get to hide those piggies. What's wrong with you, Jake? Why are you so scared?
Says, so Donald Trump is more bought and paid for than Hollywood costumes used in 11 gorillion movies because merchant Americans are satanic misers. But if we buy Greenland from Denmark, all of that money will go to the whitest, most Germanic nation in Europe, Trump's only good deed. Yeah, I mean, that's what he does. All of our tax dollars, it's got to either go to brownoids here or it's got to go to people over in Denmark, I guess. Well, what happens to the Greenlanders if we give them like $1 million? Do they just become American citizens plus $1 million, or do they go back to Denmark? I guess they could choose. But yeah,
I think they become Northern Puerto Ricans by default.
No, we can't. We can't associate that with them. They gotta. I think we'll keep the name. Okay, Greenland will just be a state name. It'll be a resort for some of us, a bastion of European culture in America.
It doesn't get to become a state. It's a territory.
Right. It would take like an act of Congress to make it a state, right? Which would never happen. But thank you, Paulie. I agree with you. Director says, hey, John, are you planning on speaking with Mike Mahowski at SHOT? Also, are you shipping the things before you head there? Yes, I will be shipping out everything before I go to SHOT Show. It's on my list of things to do. Probably Friday. I'm just going to get everything out. Get all the uppers out, everything out that I need to do, and then I'll be at SHOT Show without any sort of complications. As far as speaking to Mike of Sons of Liberty Gunworks, he never got back to me. I sent him a couple texts. I have a couple unanswered texts. I'm going to his range day on Monday. So if he's there, I'll talk to him, but he probably just isn't going to come on the show, which is fine. Fair enough. And then Anonymous over on Ko-Fi says, was Scott Adams making one last joke? I think even on his deathbed, he would know an insincere acceptance of Jesus wouldn't count. As a coworker once opined to me, God isn't selling fire insurance. I'm a little conflicted on Scott Adams, not as a person. I think that he was smart, witty. I really appreciated his comics and his later opining on society and some of the issues that we have here in America, right? As far as a Christian and his passing, I pray for him. But as far as a sincere declaration of faith, yeah, I don't know if I would call that a sincere declaration of faith. You can always hope, but yeah. I appreciate that, by the way. Chud for 2 says, why is my wife in the thumbnail? Richard, gassy. Well, it's your wife's making a lot of people happy right now, Chud. Okay. Sabartic Psycho for 5 says, I become British for Amelia. Dude, yeah. Much simpery going on, but listen, I get it. All right. Thank you, Sabartic. Lightspore for 2 says, Frost, get switched on. Yeah, true. Very true. Great line, dude. I love Modern Warfare 3, dude. All of the Delta missions in that game are fantastic. Richard, AI Amelia. I don't know if he sent you something for that, but go for it.
Sent me, but I will just have to snag this one, I guess.
Snag it?
Oh, you've got the anime one somewhere.
Yeah, actually I can send it to you real fast, I think.
Yeah, send me the anime one.
I have a video.
Yeah, I think that
video.
I don't know that.
Okay, it's a lot. All right, there you go. You have it. It's on your Discord. Thank you, Lightspore. We'll get it done. Polly B for 10 on YouTube says, Gold and Silver hit another record today. The wheels on the dollar bus are going to fall off sooner than later. Choose your tribe wisely. Christ is king. I've seen a lot of people being very bullish on silver. I thought about buying some myself, but yeah, it's probably a good investment for a lot of you guys out there, but I'm not equipped to give you guys financial advice. If you have been buying into silver, you are doing quite well, though. Zanico for 2 says, where is my Focus Trip LLC shot show pass? Well, that costs you $250 now because we're late in the game. All right, $250 if you want to get in. Thank you, Zanico. Josh for 5 says, you're all head, no shaft. Whatever, Josh. Zanico for 2 says, I bet Richard is 50 plus. 50 plus pounds. There you go. Thank you, Zany. Lightsport for 2 says, he was also playing Korn in the background. Which one are we referring to here? Are we talking about Kearns or Carl or the old man, or got to be more specific? Yeah.
So
thank you, Lightsport.
The guitarist for Korn, he later in his life turned to faith. So.
Oh yeah. I forget his name. He played live with a band that I really like. He did a guest spot with them, Red, for one of their songs. Death of
Really,
Me.
I got to see Red live in concert. That was fun.
Yeah, I've seen Red 5 times. They were my favorite band for a really long time. Probably still are. So
I've seen them in 2007.
Well, that was like first album, bro. Damn.
Yeah, when they were opening for like a no-name band. They were just starting up.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're still kind of a no-name band, which is why I like them. Polly B for 2 says, what in the Gomer Pyle mile am I looking at? Yeah, you're just you're looking at a beautiful gazelle here, okay? He's doing his best. He's doing his best, good sir. Thank you, Polly. Travis T for 2 says, Kern is Trench's Lenny. Sad. Listen, I wish the best for Kearns. He's got some room to improve, okay? Polly B for 5 says, my first, last, and only ACFT I did at 37 years old and 6 shots of Wild Turkey 101 the night before, and I'd smoke this shambolic shit show. I feel like 90% of the chat, even the invalids, would probably have a better time here than Mr. Pyle. Thank you, Polly. Modern Frontier Project for 2 says, JFC, Carl, send it to the publishers. Yeah. That tome brought to you by Narcissism. Everyday American for 5 says, I wish McCarthyism stuck. Yeah, you know, I think McCarthyism got a bad rap, okay? Much like some other things. We maybe didn't quite go far enough. No, I'm not doing that. Absolutely not. Thank you, Everyday American. Students of Violence for another 5 says, I've never done acid, but I imagine that's what happens if you do too much. Carl's manifesto. Yeah, you don't want to listen. That, okay? If you think you need to recycle this banger from 2024 to vomit onto people in 2025, like, all right. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing good. Huge ass for 5 says Carl Kickstarter cleans used null beads with his tongue. Whoa. Everyday American for 5 says you could argue the founding fathers seized freedom, at least the freedoms they wanted. Well, right, of course they did, right? They felt like they were being oppressed, right? Or misrepresented, or whatever term that you want to use. And they did go out and seize freedom. But it wasn't just freedom for anything. There were some pretty strong limitations, even if it's not ratified in some sort of document. At least culturally, they had strong limitations on what they would consider acceptable. Thank you, Everyday American.
They didn't like that tax, and then shortly after, Hamilton imposed a bunch of taxes. So, you know, it all comes full circle.
Yep. Battle Rifles for 2 says, I met Carl at my booth, and trust me, he's just a nerd. Listen, I feel like if politics didn't become mainstream, then, you know, this wouldn't be such an issue, but it just happens to be with social media and everything like that. And a little bit of a white savior complex going on, which in a certain context is very based, just not this context. Huge ass for 5 says Carl couldn't bench press an empty Coke can. He's a SpongeBob motherfucker, huh? Zanico for 2 says John looking thinner tonight. Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's
You
that
can
guy at
always
Dr. Pepper.
You can always be thinner. You can always look better, right? I'm face maxing, okay? I'm meth maxing right now. Pulling a clavicular. Light Spore for 2 says pronouns are fat and gay. Yeah, anytime I see somebody with pronouns in bio, like seriously, not some sort of like, you know, meme, joke, gag or something like that, I'm like, you're not a serious person. Thank you, Light Spore. Huge ass for $20. Says masks are bad. Literally the people who wanted to put you in a camp for not wanting to wear a mask 6 years ago. If it weren't for double standards, leftist wouldn't have any. Yeah, anytime someone's like, you can't cover up, you can't hide your face, while they literally terrorized you and wanted you socially stigmatized for being out in public without a mask. Like, I still remember being out in public without a mask and just getting the dirtiest of looks, okay? Seeing friends out with a mask on, and I'm just like, really? You know, they'd be like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, my normal life? Like, what is your problem?
It got to a certain point for me that I would start to fake sneeze whenever I got into crowded areas, just so that way I could get people to leave.
Like, go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyday American for 5 says, I bet a DDM4 shows up at his door one day out of nowhere. And then just for no reason, a crazy man got a DDM4. Contract version, too. Thank you, Everyday American. Appreciate it, man. Restards will carry anything other than a Glock. Many such cases. Zanico for 2 says he finna say 12 gauge pump. Bet he did. He did. 590. Thank you, Zany. Everyday American for 5 says I don't like it. Like it, yes. Thank you, Twench. White Sport for 2 says Renee Good doesn't like Glocks either. Thank you, Light Sport.
Too soon?
Battle Rifles for 2 says because the algorithm is pushing lib ag aggression. You could get aggression through the YouTube, or you just mistyped. Oh, the YouTube super chats suck for typing. But yeah, I think the reason why we're seeing this level of success is because, yeah, it's getting pushed to people. All right. They want this to happen. They want to make it something, but they just don't care. Thank you, Battle Rifles. Todd Dog says, watch his video entitled Hey White People. Well, this is a little bit of a mask off. Hey, white people, your whiteness will no longer protect you. In a way, yeah. Now it's more of a target on your back, isn't it? Maybe that's a problem. Maybe we should fix that. Thank you, Ton Dogs. Central Sands Defense for 5 says dudes will make their handgun their entire personality. Buddy, it's a gun, not your wife. Dude, I don't even make my wife my personality. That's lame. I mean, come on. Gotta be a man. Thank you, Central Sands Defense. Hope you're doing well, man. Polly B for 5 says, I can feel your anger, Richard. It gives you focus, makes you stronger. True. Thank you, Polly B. Son of Mandalore for 5 says, finally got my HKP30L back that I regrettably sold due to financial problems. So happy to have it back. Also, CZ is for hipsters and troons. I know. Thank you, Son of Mandalore. Hope you're doing well out there. Haven't seen you in a minute. Hopefully your financial situation is much better now. Strategy Branch for 10 says she offered to buy him a watch from GovX. Yeah, that's not a fair trade, okay? Listen, if you're on the front page, if you ever see like my thumbnail next to O'Keefe, you just know it's over, okay? I don't know what I've done, but it's just over at that point. If your face is ever on an O'Keefe thumbnail, it's just over, dude. Thank you, Stratter and Branch. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good night. Central Sands Defense for 5 says, I was stabbed at work and didn't tell my wife. Officer Loose Lips told his wife and she told mine. Damn snitches. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, you don't... Your wife like wants to know, but at the same time, like she doesn't want to know that you got stabbed at work, right? And you also don't want her to know, especially if it's not serious, right? We have that video. We should play that video sometime.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get him in to go over that video. That'll be a good one.
Strategy Branch for 2 says no one talks about Fed travel expenses and per diem. Well, I imagine as part of the Secret Service detail that travels basically every day, you know, at least every week, your per diem and your travel expenses get taken care of. So it's got to be, if you add up all the benefits, I'm sure it's a lot. I'm right boy for 2 says I met my wife on Tinder. You're like one of the 4 people that I don't know anyone in real life that actually had a successful relationship off of Tinder. But if you met your wife on Tinder, like, congratulations. You might as well have won the lottery there. Strategy Branch for 2 says, what if this was a setup to purge him from the SS? I don't think the SS would have let him in. I don't think he has the right physiognomy. Right boy, member for 2 months says, I pinged you in Cord about the Catholic cult. Yeah, I'll have to check that out at some point. I'll probably be for a Redoubt stream more than a Trip stream. Chud for 2 says, Carl's son or tactical girlfriend, daughter, Richard Gassy. Man, the crowd really appreciates Amelia, okay? Not this gassy nonsense. But speaking of gassy nonsense, or I shouldn't say nonsense, okay? It's kind of cool. This is from CAC Industry, KAK. Good dudes. They actually just helped me out this week with something very important. They are coming out in collaboration with Lima 6. The Lima 1917 water-cooled belt-fed. So this is a modified Lima 6 belt-fed upper receiver, which I know Cody at Red Right Hand is doing a lot of testing with for his stuff, of course. And this is in collaboration with CAC, and they are going to be producing these water tanks. Now, why a water-cooled machine gun? Well, 1, because it's cool. 1, because it's cool, okay? 2, because it has really good cooling properties, all right? And it does the job. And that's one of the things with machine guns and ARs and stuff like that. You need to cool it if you want to be shooting a lot of rounds downrange. But speaking of shooting rounds downrange, Central Sands Defense, how you doing tonight?
What up, guys? How's it going?
It's going good. You haven't been stabbed this week, have you?
No, I've been stabbed with boredom while I'm stuck in this hotel at a conference.
Well, okay. Have you wanted to stab people at this conference? That's the important question.
No.
No, really? Okay, that can't be going too bad then.
No, it's a work conference, so sometimes you learn stuff, sometimes you're bored out of your freaking mind.
Yeah. Every time I've had to go to a conference for work, like when I was in the steel industry, I would go and it's just like, can I not be here anymore? Like this is not entertaining.
Yeah,
I don't
some
know how
of
this is
it,
gonna help me.
some of it like directly applies to me, but then there's like half of it where it's like this has nothing to do with what I'm doing or what
Mm.
like what, it just doesn't apply to me. So it's like, all right, I don't know why I'm sitting here.
All right. Well, that's the CAC one. They have some more pictures over on Reddit. So it's gonna be belt fed, which is kind of cool. The design of it is novel, I guess. So it's basically just a water tank strapped to the barrel, and I think it has like some internal geometry to allow the water to flow when it gets hot, so it kind of moves around and cycles a little bit. It's threaded on to the end of the barrel, just a large nut, which I find funny. Now, the original design had for one of the guns, I forget which one it was, had a cooling hose that would, instead of having the water boil, which of course the water in there will boil, which is why you have a fill port, so you can drain it or fill it as needed. But the water in there will absolutely boil. So you have this hose hooked up to the tank that goes away from the gun to a box where it can condensate, and then you can refill it from there after it, resolidifies, turns back to water, so that it doesn't give away your position and just start steaming everywhere, right? It's a very interesting concept. Is it practical? No, of course not. I mean, realistically, moving one of these things is very obnoxious. You can, of course, drain the water to make it lighter, but then you need to refill it with water whenever you get where you're going. It looks like it has a fill port, so I'm sure that it can take a hose and be used in the same way. But in terms of like what sort of practical application this has, none really, but it's cool. Okay. Point defense. All right. If you need to put down a lot more hate from a stable location, I love how it's mounted to a tripod. I find that a little silly. But yeah, if you need to put out a lot of bullets really quickly and you don't want to worry about cook-offs or melting your barrel, well, water is a really good way to cool stuff down. And that's a rather large tank. Now, on the original machine guns, I think they said something like 600 rounds before the water would start to boil. I don't know if that's particularly accurate. Maybe for old ammunition that was not particularly powerful, but modern hot loadings, not entirely sure. 5.56. I'd be interested to see how it does side by side with like a standard, whether it's a red right hand with their air cooled system or just a standard regular profile barrel. See what the actual difference is between the two. I'm sure there's some deleterious effects on accuracy, obviously weight, because I mean that thing has got to add at least 10 pounds when filled up with water. So the idea of moving it around is painful.
Oh, it'll be well over 10 pounds because I'm sure that holds like a gallon and a half.
Well, an additional 10 pounds, right? So I don't know what the actual internal volume of it is. Again, if there's any sort of internal geometry for water circulation or flow, hot water goes up and then moves around, so on and so forth. But yeah, it does have a hose port and a fill port. Okay. So that's what I didn't see earlier. It's cool though. All right. Like if you want to just have fun or have something that's a mega novel, I imagine this is not going to be cheap. Lima 6 belt fed uppers are already not cheap. So adding a custom water cooling tank would add to that cost. I guarantee it by a large margin. And I think CAC is only making the water, the water tank portion of it, the muzzle device, and maybe mounting it. I'm not entirely sure who's doing what, because of course Lima 6 is the belt fed guys or the belt fed upper guys. Well, yeah. The links also add up quite a bit. It's cool though. Okay. Would I shoot one? Absolutely. Would I ever own one? No, never. I'm not going to drop 10K on this. I'm not it. Okay. Yeah, sure. It's stupid, but it's cool. Okay. It's a vibe. All right. All you vibe guys suddenly leave the chat when it's a water cooled machine gun. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you can mount it to a vehicle. I see somebody doing that. Oh my gosh. It's cool though. It's cool. I don't know what sort of price tag it's going to have, but I'm sure it's not going to be cheap. Smartic Psycho 5 says, I've often thought of a belt-fed, water-cooled AR. Glad someone brought this fever dream to life. Well, you know, the auto rifle trend is still continuing, and there's been a lot of developments in that vein for ARs over the last several years. And I think we're going to continue to see that. Now, again, is a water-cooled, belt-fed AR-15 essentially the conclusion of that? Probably not, but it is a cool little diversion, little side tangent there. Dick's Beater for 2 says, Amelia does SPH SIG pistol humiliation. Okay. All right. I don't know what that means, but thank you for that. Berserker Patriot for 5 says, would be sick mounted on a Vic with the spade trigger kit KNS makes. Well, listen, like mounting this to a vehicle would be hilarious. Would be absolutely hilarious. But I mean, yeah, it's got to be mounted to a vehicle. It's got to be point defense or something, because you are not going to be walking around with this for very long. Imagine hooking up, you know, your big padded sling to this, and it's like, all right, we're going hiking through the mountains. You got the Maxim, all right? Your life is just over. Lightsport for 2 says, John Baseline is smiling upon us right now. Indeed, somebody's got to carry on the tradition. Okay. What's old is new again. Ballistic Aviation says, friend and I are rigging up a Hilux and a Lima 6. Maybe this is next for the pintle mount on the back of the truck. Why not, dude? I mean, water cooling is back. Okay. I think it's a great idea for a static position. I think it's great. Ivan says, imagine this, but in 308. See, that's the thing. When I think about actually shooting it, I'm like, oh, that's miserable. 308, the ammo is so much more expensive. It's so much heavier. I don't know. It probably has a similar heat profile to 5.56, but it's just, it makes everything bigger and heavier. And it's already obese, basically. All right. And a huge ask for $20. I got to have something for that. Here we go. Says, oi, Richard, Amelia PFP, based. All right, the floor has been set at $20 to get rid of Amelia. We should make it higher, honestly, but fair enough. I'm sure that 308 is coming later, because that's always what happens. Always with you people, there's like, you know, there's only like a couple dozen people that this would really realistically appeal to. And then it's like, there's 4 of those people that are like, can I get it, but in 308? They're like the 10 mil guys of ARs, okay? Can I get it in 308? 4 of you are going to buy it. All right. Needs a Hydra mount for the Lamb. True. Yeah, no limited rail space on these guys, okay? All right. Next up for SHOT Show releases, we have, this is exciting to me, okay, because I like big windowed pistol dots. That this is the even bigger, even badder Holosun 507 Pro Max, built for shooters who demand speed, clarity, and total confidence on every draw. I should put on the Chad voice. Do I have it? It's got to be somewhere around here. Say, Levy.
This is going to be great if that voice comes into play, because the people in the next room are going to hear the Chad voice going off.
Well, fine, then I'll find it. All right, where is it? Voice mod, where's Chad at? Where are you, Chad? I'm trying to find you. Pirate, genius, stranger. I really should just put this on my, can I search? I can't. Okay. Giga Chad. There he is.
Hello? Okay, there it is. There it is. All right, sorry. Meet the Holosun 507 Pro Max series, built for shooters who demand speed, clarity, and total confidence on every draw. Designed with an enlarged performance window measuring 1.18 by 0.98 inches, the Pro Max delivers a sight picture that is approximately 21% larger than the 507 comp. More visual real estate means faster tracking, smoother transitions, and a clearer window. When every fraction of a second matters, a forward-leaning sunshade cuts glare and keeps your reticle crisp in harsh light. And I mean, yeah, it's a big window. Pro Maxim, baby.
Probably enough of that. The Pro Max, it's even bigger, it's even badder, which I like. All right, I like pistol dots. 507 comp is a really big window. It's a really good dot, probably the best competition pistol dot out there right now, or at least my personal favorite one. And they're making it even bigger. Very importantly, for another like 4 or 5 of you, it does come in gold. Okay, so you do get the gold reticle, the amber reticle. Okay, and I'm sure it has all the different little features or something like that. Interestingly enough, they did include a solar panel on top of the 507 Pro Max. So the comp does not, because it's just a competition dot. But with that, they are claiming 100,000 hours, which, yeah, it's just a solar fail safe, though. So I don't really buy that. I'm sure it's fine. Charlie Cox says, I actually bugged them for a bigger window last year at Shot. Low key, kind of cool. Yeah, when the 507 comp came out, it was one of the bigger ones. But since then, there's been a few that are even bigger. Like the one that I'm running currently on my comp gun, which I think is on the floor behind me, is massive. It's even bigger than the Pro Max. So it's even bigger than the next version of the Holosun 507 comp. But yeah, good dots. Probably my favorite dot out of all the ones that are released so far. Well, where should we go? You want to talk Palmetto State Armory or Night Force?
Let's go poor and then pricey.
Okay, fine. Well, we have well, I don't even know if you could consider this poor, okay? Because Remington 700s and chassis and poor don't go hand in hand. Some of them are very expensive, and this one here might end up being like $1,500, $2,000, something like that. But this is one of PSA's update videos, all right, on the Saber bolt gun, which is just a Remington 700, okay? The Saber bolt gun is coming. The next time you see it, it will be a launch date announcement. To stay up to date on everything Palmetto State Armory, like and follow. Maybe. Or maybe just talk about it online, all right? Maybe that's what I'll do.
This product update is on the...
So I don't know what version they're showing here, but it's kind of nifty. All right. It's got a buffer tube on the back, so you have a nice adjustable stock. It's got a nice enough looking chassis. It's got a really short barrel. I wonder if this is a 16-inch or even shorter.
It's a pinned, I think.
Yeah, so this might be like a 13.7 with a Knox on the end. People are liking those. It's kind of nice. It's okay.
And then what also strikes me as interesting is the action. First peek, it almost looks like the Aero Solus.
Well, somebody just said that in chat that they think it's the Aero Solus action. It might be.
Yeah,
the thing about the Aero Solus, the Aero Solus is not cheap though. It's if you were to get a complete Solus rifle, and I'm a dealer for them. Let me see. What does a Solus rifle go for? $2,000 for their competition setup. So these are not cheap products, right? 700 chassis are like $400 or $500 by themselves, right? Then the action is another $400 or $500. The barrel, can be very expensive depending on where you're going. They're not cheap, right? Which is like when I think of Palmetto State Armory and a bolt gun, I think of something affordable, something that has some features, might be a little flashy, but it's affordable. Most guys like the Sig Cross is actually surprisingly affordable at like $1,500. Now I know that those have some problems, but the Sig Cross and some of the other guns that are already on the market are probably going to be cheaper than the PSA Saber bolt gun.
Ruger makes a decent one.
Yeah, I've owned a RPR, but they're so late to the game right now. I mean, you've got companies Tika, Bagara, Hala. Even
Ruger, things like the Savage Axis 2 had a chassis model that I had that was really decent. I got it for like $699. All right, that action is $699.
Yeah. So I don't know how they think they're going to be, I guess, competitive in the market here. But I mean, it's PSA, so PSA fanboys will buy it.
I mean, I think they're hoping that they will for sure. I mean, maybe the attraction is that they can get like some different barrel lengths, right? So if they're offering like a 12.5 or a 14.5 or oddball calibers like 300 blackout, 338 arc, maybe some of these interesting calibers in a really short package, and they're marketing that, hey, we're cheaper than Q, I guess, right?
It does come with you play the video further, it does come with a Remage style barrel. So like a barrel nut. So if you have the tooling, you can spin the barrel off at home. Headspace gauges, throw another barrel on. So like my wife's competition gun has a Remage barrel, and that's super nice because you can just spin a barrel off, spin a new barrel on, and change barrels like in 15 minutes.
This product update is on the Saber bolt gun. The Saber bolt gun is our modular bolt action system. We plan on offering these in complete gun configuration as well as just complete action configurations. The Saber bolt gun is a Remington 700 footprint. The top rail is a 20 MOA cant that is integrated into the action. It has a 60-degree throw and a 3-lug bolt design. It uses a Remage-style barrel nut system, so it's easier for you at home to headspace your firearm. And this one right here has a 14.5 barrel on it that is chambered in 308 with a dead air chemo pin and weld on it. We plan on offering these in multiple different configurations.
And I mean, I think that's a good move, okay, to show off something a little bit more novel, a little shorter, because most bolt guns are still 18, 20, 22 inches. And also combining it with the fact that we just had the SBAR tax removed and suppressor tax removed, I think you are going to see a lot of shorty bolt guns pulling up on the market. Again, I don't think, does he mention price in this video? Because if he does, I don't know if they do that because these are mirrored on YouTube and they don't mention price on YouTube.
As you see here, this is our aluminum chassis version. It has an integrated Arca rail on the bottom as well as M-lock slots for all your attachment methods. The chassis will also accept AR-15 grips without a beaver tail, and we will have an option for you to either have a Picatinny adapter on the back of here or you can screw in a buffer tube. The initial offerings on the Saber bolt gun will be short action only and chambered in 308 as well as 6.5 Creedmoor. Now that we talked about the specs of the firearm, now let's talk about where we're at on this project. Everything that you see here is our production tooling. We are nearing the
short action calibers.
Right. So, but what's the 5.56 actions? That's not short action. It's what do you call that? Like a micro or mini action?
Oh gosh, I think Remington 700 patterns are still short action, but the bolt face is different. So they keep the same length action. Don't quote me on it because 223 bolt guns are stupid in my opinion. But anyways, I digress.
They're so fun to shoot though. Okay,
they are very fun to shoot. Exactly.
Okay, 5.56 is short and 700s. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's just a different bolt face.
Yeah, because I mean, I know some people are gonna be like, okay, 300 blackout, right? Because they want that ultra quiet short gun, basically, right? Short bolt gun or 338 arc or some of these new ones, right? That PSA is pushing with things like their mixtape, so it kind of makes sense to have some overlap there, I guess.
And I can't remember off the top of my head, but if it's a copy, if the bolt, like the actual bolt itself, is a copy of like the Arrow Solus or it's made by Arrow, I can't remember if that's an interchangeable bolt head because that's super, that's kind of in vogue right now is those swappable bolt heads where you can quick swap, 223, 300 black to, the 450 short action calibers to the larger like 338 stuff.
I pulled up just for the heck of it. I looked at Arrow's like website, right? Not their dealer website, but just their regular website for the Solus. Like even their cheap models are $1,800 for like a non chassis version or like just like a hunting stock version, right? Is $1,800. So I don't know how PSA is going to make this like $1,200 because maybe it would be really attractive at $1,200. Like if it came with a good barrel, like getting into precision shooting, or you just want a bolt gun that has like a little bit nicer, like $1,200 would be really attractive. But if it's 15, 16, $2,000, I don't know how cool that's going to be.
No, I mean the barrel's going to be everything. I mean everybody knows that. I mean the barrel is the heart of your bolt gun there, and if it's a crap barrel, no matter how good the action is, it's going to shoot like shit.
Yeah. So the funny thing is about Arrow Precision is I don't shop on their retail side, right? Because I have a dealer account. They have a different website for that. I haven't had problems with their dealer account. So they're shafting all of the regular people and taking care of their dealers, as far as I'm aware.
The finish line. I know we've been talking about this for the last 2 years, but I'm happy to say the next time you see this gun on video, it will be a date announcement of when it's going to launch. We're releasing videos just like this.
All right, so that's that on the Remington 700 Aero Solus PSA Saber rifle, which is okay. That's neat. That's cool enough. That's fine. I do find it funny that it has taken them 2 years of public development, not to mention however long it was private development, for them to bring a Remington 700 essentially to market. I wonder if part of that development phase was they were trying to make it in-house, and then they were like, well, why don't we just have Aero make it for us? I wonder if that was part of the calculation. All right. Well, there's another update. All right. Oh my gosh, you guys over on Ko-Fi are making you're making everyone gay over there, okay? Be nice. Jeez. Okay, but we have another product that is interesting. I don't know if you've seen this, Ben, but the Saber 11, which is their 2011 competitor model to Staccato, I guess.
If we're bringing water cooled guns back, might as well bring 1911s back, you know?
Yeah, make it double stacked, I guess. But this is another one of those things where it's like, I think Palmetto State Armory in 2011, I want $1,000 pistol, okay, or less even, right? Because there's a couple 2011s on the market that are American made that are under $1,000 or around $1,000, right? They're not particularly good, but they're around that price tag. This one is like a mix of high-end features on it with like a $600 grip. So this is another one of those things where it's going to be between timber and Staccato pricing. So somewhere between, maybe $1,600, $1,700 on the low end up to north of $2,000. So again, it's like, that's not terrible when it comes to 2011s, but that's also not attractive. And I don't know if this is is this PSA's market? Like cheap ARs, cheap AR knockoffs, cheap AKs, high-end handguns, right? I just don't know. I know they're trying to branch out and do as much as they can, but I just don't know if there's much of a market here for them to latch onto.
I guess what does this benefit them going into a high-end handgun market if you're going to spend, what is this, or do we know a price?
We don't know what price, but it's a no mimmed gun, right? So there are no mimmed parts in it, made in America. So it's going to be
$2,000.
It's going to be expensive, right? And the grip, they say who makes the grip, but the grips themselves retail for $600. It's going to have adjustable or interchangeable trigger shoes, no mimmed parts. It's not going to be inexpensive.
No, that's the point.
That is a miss. And it's good. Well, if it's close to Staccato at all, it's like, why? Even the Kimbers, the new 2K11s, they've been doing like really well. So, I mean, and those are sub 2K usually. They did have one very simple miss with the very black gun and then one obvious stainless steel screw in the grip. Now again, sorry, we have to be subjected to the corn music again. It's not a bad looking gun though, right? It's got wraparound serrations. The lines are fine. It's very standard for a 2011, but it's not a bad looking gun. Don't think it's gonna be particularly a hot seller, but looks nice.
This update is on the Saber 11. The Saber 11 is a double stack 1911 that uses fully machined components. There are no MIM components in this at all. The Saber 11 will feature a 5-inch bull barrel, a full-length dust cover, and an external extractor. The slide features wraparound serration and will come standard with an RMR AOS optic mounting system. The trigger that comes with the Saber 11 has an interchangeable trigger shoe that you can change without having to take your entire gun apart. It also comes with a full-size MJD grip that we worked with him on to match the aesthetics of the Saber 11. The Saber 11 will ship with two 19-round Checkmate magazines that are compatible with other double-stack 19.
The music is divorced boomer dadcore. True. This is garage rock, okay? This is cracking open a couple cold ones with the boys around a pool table core.
11s on the market. Now let's talk about where we're at on this project. We are currently finishing up our industrialization phase of getting this project to the market. We plan on launching this by the end of Q1. We are releasing more update videos just like this as we get closer to SHOT Show. So make sure you follow us on all of our social media channels and head on over to.
Again, it's not going to be cheap though, right? And this is PSA. They keep pumping out new products. I don't know who asked for them, but they keep pumping out new products, whether you ask for them or not.
Would this be potentially someone's intro into, is it LO limited optics? Because there's carry optics, which is striker fired handguns.
Yeah. Well,
LO it has to be hammer fired, right?
No. So it's very interesting. So in carry optics,
I'm a U class piece of shit, so I don't know.
Well, really, the only stipulation is that there is no single action guns, right? So, like my Shadow 2 can play in carry optics because it's double single action. But if I'm in carry optics, I have to start the gun in double action, right? Single action is in limited. However, you can shoot a Glock in limited all you want. Limited also allows you the addition of a magwell. So 2011s are limited only. Or open if you have a comp on them, right? So you can't use those in any other division just because of the fact that they are 2011s are double stack and single action only, right? So that would be limited or limited optics.
Would it make sense going the PSA route instead of the Shadow route then?
No,
or is
dude.
The Shadow still
I
beating
think,
in price
I
and
think
performance?
Well, Shadows are only $1,200. And Shadows are all steel. And I think personally, Shadows are better than most 2011s until maybe you get into some of the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 guns, right? A Shadow for $1,200, and it can do both categories. So you can do carry optics and you can do limited optics with the same gun, right? So for instance, I have I shoot limited optics with a striker fired handgun. I don't care. I just put a magwell on it, right? And it's just it's a Canic, it's a Rival S. It's not even a very nice gun. But no, you do not need a 2011 to play around in limited unless you really want to. They're limited to limited optics, of course, by nature of their single action design and being a double stack gun. But
I guess maybe that's what they're going after, I guess, here. Like someone doesn't want to buy a CZ, so who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to think, even if somebody was saying, okay, John, I've got a lot of money, I want to get into limited optics, what's a really good gun for that? And I had to offer them a 2011. Like, I feel like the Kimber 2K11s have been worked up to be really good at this point, especially for the money. I personally don't love, well, way post Cone, because they didn't even come out till after Cone was gone. Now, personally, I would go TS2, as Chud is saying, but that's a CZ gun. So if we're in the realm of 2011s, I don't love staccatos. For 2K to 2500, I don't think that they're that great for competition. I don't love staccatos. That's the complicated spot is I would offer them something a lot more expensive. And again, with the PSA, it's also going to come down to quality control because 2011s can be very finicky. Like Springfield has had their, what do they call their 2011? It's not the Echelon. That's their striker fire.
Prodigy.
What's theirs? The Prodigy. They've had their Prodigy out for like a half decade at this point, and it's still not having problems. And that's a cheap quote unquote 2011. I'm not sure if it's fully made overseas or partially made overseas with MIM parts, but you can get those for like $1,200 to $1,500. And again, the PSA is going to be even more expensive than that. So, cheap and 2011s don't really go well together. And even a quote unquote cheap 2011, if it's not put together well, like it's not going to be fun to, have issues on every stage. Like, I mean, I've even seen it where somebody has like a $3,000-$4,000 Atlas, right? And or a $6,000 Atlas, and they're having issues every magazine. That's not fun to do. So an Atlas will actually take care of you and fix the product. PSA,
A lot of those guys are handcrafting ammo that barely meets power factor and cycles the gun to though.
yeah. Sig P211. I know a guy locally who has a P211, likes it. Fun. I think it did have to have some work done to it, but yeah. So I mean, there's options in that price category already from companies that have already done this and have at least somewhat of a track record. PSA does not. So man, dropping 2K on a complete unknown like a PSA 2011, like I don't know who I would recommend that to. Like it would be a meme gun or a novelty gun for somebody who's already into 2011s and is already dropping that kind of money on guns. Like if you're a Glock shooter, or let's say you're even poor, like a dagger shooter or an RXM shooter, you're not just going to like, oh, you know what? This $350 handgun, I want to try something nice. I want to drop $2,000 on a PSA. You know, it's like, it's a weird value proposition. And as JBGC says, PSA has never had a good Gen 1 product. I would often recommend staying away from any company's Generation 1 product. That is a good move. Yeah. And again, even the Kimbers, the 2K11s, you can get a lot of different models though now. It's a mature product line. They have like, 8 different variants essentially, starting out about $1,700, $1,700 to $2K, and you can get almost any model of the Kimber 2K11. Yeah. So, but if you want to spend, actually, what's funny is, I was going to say if you want to spend even more money, buy a Night Force, but the Night Forces might actually be cheaper in this because they have unveiled, they have launched their new variant, the NX6 family of scopes. Do you currently own any Night Force, Ben?
I don't. I'm a Midwestern guy, so I end up with vortexes.
Yeah, you see a lot of them around here for sure. But let's see if any of these are going to be enticing to you.
I'm Chad from Night Force Optics, and this is the new NX6 family of rifle scopes.
I gotta skip some B-roll here because otherwise YouTube will murder me, and I don't want to be murdered. But yeah, the new NX6 line. So it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it, hybrid mid-range.
We did this by prioritizing a few different things in the design. We started with ease of use in the design of both the reticles and the turrets. Next, we chose lightweight configurations and magnification ranges that make it ideal for just about every rifle shooting application. Let's look at the configurations of the NX6 family in more depth. We start with a 1:6 by 24 in first and second focal plane. Next is the 2:12 by 42 in first and second focal plane, a 3:18 by 50 in first and second focal plane, a 4:24 by 50 in second focal plane only, a 5:30 by 56 in first focal plane only, and a 6:36 by 56 in first and second focal plane.
I kind of like the idea of a simple, quote unquote, cheap 2-12 from Night Force. The 1:6 I'm less interested in just because it's been done a million times before. It's not particularly small or lightweight. If they had come out with a compact, if Night Force had done a compact, that'd be very interesting.
You say cheap, but their Mile High has the 2-12 for $1,800.
Is that, let me see, NX
Mile High shooting accessories.
Well, I wonder, is that MSRP or, let me see.
That's just who I saw had them advertised.
Well, so currently they're all on back order right now. Even the 1:6 is $1,800. So they're not cheap. Now I imagine this is map right now. I hope they would come down a little bit from that because low $1,000 range. Although hey, one of the 1:6 is only $1,500. That's PLXC territory. Which is actually interesting that, yeah, so Night Force and PLXC are in the same category for LPVO. That's actually funny. Yeah, 2-12 is $1,800. So, but this is like pre-launch pricing. So if I had to guess, you'll probably be able to find them for $1,500 within a couple months. And then maybe some crazy sales every now and again. So a little bit less. It's a little bit less than the NX8s.
The feature set of the NX6 family is tailored to the use cases of each model. One of the defining features of the NX6 family is our new field set turret system. The field set turret system is built for ease of use. That starts with the ability to reset both the dial and the zero mechanism with a single action. That single action can be performed with either the included tri-tool or just about anything you have in your range bag. In addition to this ease of use, the field set turret system also offers configurability. This starts with the ability to zero our exposed turrets at either a zero mark or 2 milliradians or 4 MOA below zero. The capped elevation models, with the exception of the 1 to 6, can be converted from a capped dial to an exposed dial. Once converted, the system can take either a standard dial or a bullet drop compensating dial that's available from our website.
See, I like that. I like giving you options with your turrets because they do come, most of the options come with a capped model if you really do want something that's just not going to budge, I guess. Making them easy to reset, giving you different models of turrets. I like all that sort of stuff for customizability.
Yeah, options are never a bad thing.
The second focal plane variants, with the exception of the 1 to 6, will include a voucher for this free conversion kit. In addition to this free conversion kit,
free,
additional
that's nice.
BDC.
Well, yeah, for $1,800, you just got to tell them that you want the extra cap set. That's not bad. They're not making you nickel and diming you like $100 for another turret. I know some companies, yeah, they charge you like $100 per turret set or something.
Yeah, that's nice if it's like an included feature where it's just like, hey, if you we provide product A, but you want option B, yeah, we'll provide it to you at no cost. That's a nice little after feature right there.
Mm-hmm.
Dials are available from our website for any model equipped with an exposed field set turret. Additional features are tailored to the use case of each model. This starts with the illumination systems. The 1 to 6 models offer daylight visible illumination actuated by a rotary dial on the side of the scope. All of the higher powered configurations offer Digilume, which is Night Force's red-green selectable illumination system. The entire NX6 family
in the NXS 2 to 10 that I had to play around with, I hate the Digilume. It's so obnoxious. One button to do everything.
Features a capped windage dial, locking diopter, and a magnification ring that rotates independent of the eyepiece. Models with an adjustable parallax focus down to 10 meters or 11 yards, which is useful for rimfire and airgun rifles. Finally, all NX6 models include an optional throw lever and Night Force design flip caps in the box. The last consideration in optimizing the NX6 family for ease of use was in the reticle design. The 1 to 6 model features the popular FC-DMX reticle in the first focal plane. For the second focal plane, we designed the new FC-6C reticle for tactical shooters and competitors.
Now, I really hope that that's a fiber optic illumination, because if it's just a duplex with a dull, red blob in the center, that's going to be miserable. But if it's fiber optic, then I get it. Also, I don't mind the other reticle either. I think that's fine.
The FC-6C is a 600-yard BDC reticle designed for heavy grain 223 loads. For brush hunters and dangerous game hunters, the 1 to 6 is also available with the 4AI reticle. For the 2 to 12 by 42 first focal plane, we designed a new mid-power variable reticle called the FC-MRX. The FC-MRX is available in both milliradian and minute of angle, and it's an extended variant of our popular FC-DMX.
Yeah, so I don't know what your feelings are on reticles, if you have a strong opinion one way or the other, Ben. But yeah, 1x1 mil grid, perfectly fine with. 4x4 MOA is, I guess, less ideal, but also fine. But yeah, I prefer just a simple 1x1 mil grid.
It really, reticles are a personal preference thing. I like cleaner reticles. I'm not a huge fan of the Christmas tree stuff that takes up.
Well, so what do you usually run in one of yours?
So I've got 3 of the Gen 2, 3. Yeah, 3 of the Gen 2 razors, so like a 4 to 27. Oh, shit, how many of them do I have? Crap. But those are all like the Vortex like EBR2C. So it's just the, Vortex's, 1 MOA or whatever it is, like half MOA hash marks. It isn't really like a Christmas tree. It isn't like a
Okay.
super crowded Christmas tree reticle. So
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I just pulled it up.
if it gets too crowded, then you get, like, in my opinion, you get lost in the sauce when you're trying to look for stuff.
Mm-hmm. Too much information paralysis, or analysis paralysis, as they say.
Exactly. Like, I mean, a lot of like PRS matches, you're dialing stuff, so the like you're just holding center on a lot of stuff. So, and then for what I do for work, I really don't need a reticle that has hash marks out to 40 MOA. That's just not conducive to what I need it for.
For the second focal plane versions of the 2 to 12, 3 to 18, and 4 to 24, we're offering Nightforce's popular MOAR reticle and the newly designed 4AI. For the 3 to 18, 5 to 30, and 6 to 36 first focal plane variants, we're offering both simple and grid style reticle. For Milleradian, that's the popular Mil-C and Mil-XT. For Minute of Angle, we're offering the MOA-XT grid reticle and the newly designed MOA-C, which is a simplified version of the MOA-XT. Finally, for the 6 to 36 second focal plane version, we'll be offering the new Fine Varmint Reticle 1.
Okay, I was like, why? What would you ever use this for? Yeah, just for varmints, very small targets. Yeah,
Varmints and maybe F class, where they're trying to shoot really itty bitty holes really far away.
Yeah, true.
On the 318, on the 3 to 18, that's going to be, especially in second focal plane, that's going to be pretty popular, especially with the board reticle, because that's big bulk lines, easy to pick up, especially in the second focal plane.
Yes, I mean, here's the full lineup. They have their 1 to 6s, which are they're not particularly small. Maybe they're a little fat. Let's see. So they are 116 feet field of view at 1x, which is pretty decent. 30 millimeter main tubes, 19 ounces, 10 inches long. They're standard. So I kind of wish people were coming out with more compact LPVOs, because I really like that idea of getting them smaller and lighter. But c'est la vie. Hopefully the glass is good, and hopefully the 1X is actually decent. Same for both of them. So yeah. All right. Well, that might excite a few of you in the chat, knowing that Nightforce has a new lineup that's slightly more affordable. And I do mean slightly more affordable. However, this is a novel one. I would go so far as to say that I actively dislike it. This is going to be the Geisley GFW and GPD. And very wacky 8-inch AR pistol brace setup. Okay. And I'm just going to skip around in this video because we don't need the full explanation, but let's let them explain it to you.
Can a compact weapon really maintain full-size reliability? The GFW proves it, delivering Super Duty performance in a package designed for confined spaces.
Jason and Brandon here from Geisley Automatics. We're excited to show you the GFW, which is our ultra-compact platform of the Super Duty.
The GFW redefines the personal defense platform. You have the well-known reliability of a Super Duty, but in a ultra-compact package. Featuring an 8-inch barrel, it's available in 5.56 and 300 blackout. And it's ideal for tight storage solutions or high-stakes environments in a confined space.
A standout feature of our GFW is our dual telescoping stock. Simply pull to the rear.
So this is what I wanted to show you guys. So it's like a 2-piece metal job that looks horrifying and uncomfortable. I think this is the DFW stock system. Is that the name of that company that made those short recoil systems? I forget the name of it, but there's a couple interesting things going on the inside of this one. So you have a specialized length buffer tube, which is shorter. You have a special bolt carrier, which has a internal buffer on the back that's attached to the carrier itself, right? So you have like a telescoping buffer on the back of your bolt. They didn't show it in the video, but taking it apart is very obnoxious because you have just stuff flying out everywhere. So it uses a a very novel short recoil system, and then just this long metal extension tube, basically to give you your stock. And it I don't know if it has multiple positions, but it seems like it's kind of just one position, and it's very angular and it looks quite uncomfortable. I
was gonna
mean,
say with it being collapsed so short there, are you able to fire it in the collapsed position, or are you required to extend it to actually use
no,
it?
you couldn't shoulder it very well in the short position, but you can definitely fire it collapsed because it's not
Okay,
it's only
okay.
covering the buffer tube. It's not actually. So that's this extended length, and then when it's short, it's this short. So it is quite compact because it's only a mini buffer tube on the back, because again, the carrier is shorter with a internal buffer.
Okay.
And
Well,
that's how they get away with it.
We're gonna throw a 6-inch can on the front of it.
Yeah, well, so there is one other part of this that is kind of novel. So there's a better look at the actual mechanism itself. Again, it looks like I think it was the DFW stocks, or I forget the name of it, but they're like $600 by themselves. This is not going to be cheap. They're also coming out with a new handguard system that comes with or is designed to work with a very specific Hux can, which is actually really funny. So, Hux's thing is reduced back pressure, right? So they decided to make this model right here, which is very specialized.
God.
And so guess what the purpose of this Hux can is? High back pressure. Yeah, they're like, you know what? What if we just had a high back pressure can?
Hear me out. We need more gas into this system to make it work.
Well, yes, is specifically with this. It's a Mark 16 rail that they've fed a bunch of food, or they've engorged to allow a half under the rail suppressor, half out the rail suppressor that is high back pressure, designed for 300 blackout subsonic. So, like, if you can see underneath the rail, there is a mini part of the suppressor underneath the rail in there, and it is a fat boy rail. Yeah, well, listen, I actually want them to bring the fat handguard system to market so that I can use it on other things, because I don't mind having an SD style handguard or a little bit thicker of a handguard. And I mean, the Mark 16 is really slim. I forget what they're calling this one, but this is going to be a fat boy version of the Mark 16. So yeah, this is opposite day for Hux. It's they just actually, you can't see it here, but what they did was they just uncircumcised the Huxworks can, or they welded the holes together at the end to make it not flow through anymore. You know what? Unflow throughs your can. It's an interesting look. I didn't say good. I said it's an interesting look. And then of course it has the weird spiral section that goes underneath the handguard. Now, the reason why it looks so ugly is so that you can actually use the M-lock slots, because you only have 7 inches of M-lock, a rail, right? So they make the first part of the suppressor like really small. So you have enough clearance underneath your rail to actually use your M-lock slots, which is a problem when it comes to a lot of the SD handguards. It's like, yeah, sure, it's SD, but you actually lost 3 inches of usable rail. Congratulations. So you made your rail longer, but didn't do anything.
So is that suppressor like an over the barrel, or is it just super short and it's an SD handguard?
I believe this is still the same 8-inch barrel. So the barrel hasn't changed. So it still goes. So it is a suppressor that is very long, but it's very small at the back. The barrel, it's not an over barrel. I don't think it's an over barrel in this system, because this is still the 8-inch offering. So, and this looks like a 10 or a 12-inch handguard on there. So the barrel stops back here somewhere, it would be my guess. And then there's a really thin part of the suppressor to give you enough clearance. And then the suppressor fattens out to give you maximum suppression at the end. Because I mean, it doesn't look huge, but this is probably very fat at the end. This is probably like just under 2 inches at the end. So it's a very fat voice suppressor. Yeah, it's just smaller internally to clear the M-lock. So you actually have usable rail. Now, prepare yourself, okay? Because I'm about to show you a brace. Because they are coming out with a pistol model that looks, well, hideous. It's a bit of stretchy fiber clipped into the stock, and I hope it still telescopes, though I don't think it telescopes quite as far. So yeah, it does not telescope as far at all, and does not have the extended buffer tube section, right? Or the cheek weld section.
Eugene Stone is rolling
So
over in his grave right now.
yeah,
That looks super bendy.
well, I mean, those are steel rods, but yeah, it doesn't look strong. It doesn't look secure, but most importantly, it looks uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Yeah. You wanted an HK clip with your pistol brace? Question mark. I mean, listen, the SBR tax is gone. Okay, just get the stock. All right, you don't need to be whatever this is. Just no. Don't do this. Now, I'm very excited to walk around the SHOT Show floor and see if I can find Bendy Bill and talk to him about this novel brace design. I want to just ask him, like, where'd you get the idea from? Do you steal it from Strike Industries, huh? Mortar clearing, dude. If you're clear, it's also, these are very expensive, okay? Because they're using a very expensive telescoping stock system. They're using a hybrid buffer internal recoil system with their new carrier. So this is not going to be cheap. These are going to retail for well north of $2,000, if not touching $3K. Yeah. Focus Group says, I'll bet you $1 only one rod had a notch and it flexes like a mofo under recoil. Yeah, dude, that brace looks horrible. This does not look appetizing for pretty close to 3K. No, thank you. But moving on to something else that is also a no thank you, at least for most. Well, actually, let me get to these real fast. Sheep Herder for 5 says, big window pistol dots embody the if it looks stupid, but it works, it's not stupid mantra. Holosun is still king of the red dot game. I think Holosuns for 99% of applications satisfy like all the needs of the average person. Totally true. And the 507 comp for the most part is like my favorite pistol dot for competition. So if they make an even bigger one and it doesn't suck, I think that's a win. Thank you, Sheep Herder. Moonman for 5 says, I show up and I'm blinded by the Chat GPT has Remington 700. Yeah, sorry, bro. You picked a bad time to hop on. All right. Thank you, Moonman. Moonman for another 5 says, everyone trying to sell me the Paul Oakenfold mix version of a thing we've had for decades. Where's my Mass Effect gun? What about a las gun? It's like, yeah, can we get the N7 or the M7 from Mass Effect 1, where we can just have heat clips, thermal clips instead? All right. Las guns would be cool. I think that's in the next update when we get shoulder fired rail guns. Thank you, Moonman. Moonman again for 5 says, effing slop. That's what a 2011 is. Slop for the boomer at heart. Disgusting anyone in front of a bus for making me see this. Disgusting someone. What do you mean? Throwing someone? Anyone in front of a bus for making me see this? Yeah. 2011s will make you commit war crimes in Minecraft. Moonman for 5 says, not bad looking. You Philistine. It's a 1911 with no soul. You, me, moving bus. Wow, dude, you're getting feisty about looks of a 2011. I think deep down, Moonman, you just don't want to admit that it looks good and that you like it a little more than you let on. It's true. Thank you, Moonman. Moonman for 5 says, I had a terrible day. All of them are, aw, Moonman, they're not terrible days. You're 6 feet above, okay? But I think your retort to that would be that, yeah, but too many other people are as well. Talk about something fun so I can Fed post. Past tense support with a hammer. If I have to hear about PSA, well, we've got a couple more pour-coded things. Yeah, I've got a couple more. So you'll be able to Fed post about pores. Moonman for another 5 says, how do we make a small strap? Huh? Should we use a system that doesn't need a buffer tube? No, the 45-year-old divorced dads only buy ARs. Well, I think guys Bill and Amy are doing quite well, and they're like north of 60, okay? So also for the olds as well. Thank you, Moonman. Zandico for 2 says, Strike Industry X Geisley. Yeah, not the collaboration we wanted to see, but the collaboration we get to see. Rob over on Ko-Fi says he needs the HoloSun IMAX. True, the IMAX. That's coming 2027. We get the Pro Max and then the IMAX. You're probably going to be watching the Odyssey on a HoloSun soon enough, okay? Stephen Harris says, seriously, can we quit with the water cooling on rifles, and can we just bully Red Right Hand into putting the Lewis gun cooling tech on his damn uppers? They literally never overheated, just sheath the barrel and have gas out the front to induct air into the back, please. All right, Cody, if you're still in chat, gonna have to, I mean, he literally paid me $3 to tell you that, so you have to do it now. Subarctic Psycho for 10 says, yeah, okay, I'll stick with my real Remington 700s made decades ago when Remington was good. My rifles dropped more animals and trekked more miles than that gentleman from PSA could ever imagine. They're beat crap and rust damage and still print half MOA groups. F you fago. I think it's, actually I can say faggot now. We're over 2 hours into the stream. We're good. And then Curse of the Gingerbeard became a Ko-Fi caffeine creep. Appreciate that, man. Mitzvot on Ko-Fi says, seriously. Oh, wait, no, we already read that one. Okay, we're good. We're good. You guys can't stop us anymore. All right. Oh, wait, no. Steven just said the same thing twice. All right. He said the same thing twice on Ko-Fi. I got it the first time. Yeah, Red Right Hand defending himself. I have heat sinks. All right. Do you guys like 10 millimeter?
No.
No. Richard,
I
you
don't
like 10
either.
millimeter?
I think it's overpriced 40 cal, and it's often the same spec.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Well, I'll have you know that the trend of mid-size comped carry guns continues, this time in 10 millimeter from Smith & Wesson. So this is their new M&P 10 carry comp.
Smith, why do you do these things?
Strategically designed with our power port. That's right. We got power bottoms and power ports from Smith & Wesson. Vented barrel and clear sight cut. The 10 millimeter M&P carry comp features a 15+1 capacity flat face trigger, optics cut, and night sights. So that'll be about 650, maybe 750 for your everyday carry comped 10 millimeter heater stashed in a 2-seater. All right. I think it's kind of cool.
This is like for boomer 50-year-olds who buy it, put full metal jackets in it, and never shoot the thing.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it is not full size. It is 15+1. Well, I guess actually 15+1 is kind of carry size for 40. So that's a full size grip. That's a full size grip. 15.
Yeah, that's full size for 15. Yeah.
But then it's a shorter barrel though, because you have the huge cut at the end for the port. So it's like a 19 size barrel. It's like a compact size barrel with a full size slide for the comp. Yeah. It is a 17 size, right? It's got to be with 15+1. There's no way you could shove more 40 cal in a smaller magazine. So yeah, Glock 20s. Well, again, the Glock numbers confuse me. Anything above 19, I get confused. So I don't know if the 20 is a full size or a compact.
20
John
is
is
a
a
full
compact size Doom. Yeah, so it's a full size gun with a little bit shorter barrel to get that comp on there. I would like if they had this at a range day, I would think this would be kind of fun to shoot, right? Because it's like it's 10 millimeter, but you're probably shooting 40 cal ammo, really. And then you have a port on the end, so it feels like 9 millimeter. And it's also the velocity is not that impressive because again, you're shooting essentially 40 cal out of a short barrel. So
I do like the fact that a lot of these will actually run 40.
yeah, but I mean, even like 10 millimeter, that's loaded to 40 basically, right? So most of the ball ammo you're going to be shooting is not that hot.
Right now, you're paying 80 cents a round for 40 instead of, 45.
Yeah,
or
well, that's the
whatever it
thing
is.
about 40 is 40 right now. Like you can get like HSL is selling their 40, which is what I shoot in the STI for like 25 cents a round, dude. It's barely more expensive than 9 millimeter. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and if you check the 10 millimeter, it's going for what, 65 to 80
At
cents a
least,
round.
at least. The
Yeah,
problem
it's
is like
stupid.
40 cal still does, for all the memes about 40 cals, it still does get shot. Whereas like
Yeah.
10 millimeter is for like 4 boomers who say they love the firepower, but never actually carry it or shoot it.
And a couple of Zoomers who think it's amazing.
Well,
because they
even
read the
Amoko's.
brochure.
Amoko's Strongest Soldiers like, oh, but it's really good if you hand load it. Nobody's hand loading 2,000 rounds of 10 millimeter. It just doesn't happen.
So Buffalo Bore and Underwood both have one good loading apiece, or two, maybe two, right? I think Underwood actually has two because they've got their standard jacketed plus their copper round. So, but that you're paying like $1.50 a round or $2 a round. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're like legitimately using this for like self-defense purposes, I feel like there's a more appropriate gun for that than what is essentially a short barrel 10 millimeter handgun.
This makes
It's
sense
novel.
in like
I
two
would have fun
states.
shooting it. I would have fun shooting it. I wouldn't actually carry it, of course, or want to spend the cost on ammo. Now, here's something still in the same vein, still talking about handguns. Something that I don't know a single person who is actually asking for this. John Browning Gun Club says, I use 10 millimeter for dogman defense while hiking, and I'm not talking about Oxide or Hassan. So yeah, that's unfortunate ball knowledge. Unfortunate ball knowledge. But I don't know of a single person who asked for this, but did you guys want a cheaper FN pistol? Like, I don't know anybody in real life that even likes the FN pistols to begin with, but did you guys want a cheaper version of that?
I don't think anybody asked for it. I really don't. And again, I'm with you. I know nobody who shoots FN. I know a couple people who own them, but they just like sit in the safe and collect dust. They don't shoot them.
So I think the MSRP coming out of these guys is going to be like $550. So think street price of $500 or lower, right?
That's still $150 too much for this because nobody's going to buy it.
I mean, it also, to me, when I see this, if I didn't have the FN logo on the side, I would think this is a Taurus.
It does look like the
yeah, it looks like a
G,
Taurus to me.
What is it? The G3X or whatever it is. The
G3X, G4X. They have, actually, I didn't cover it, but I might bring it up a little later. But Taurus did do a bit of a PR stunt where they were like, this has never been done before. No company has ever offered this challenge. We had the new, I think it's called the GX9. Forgive me if that's not correct. But we went 1,000 rounds without a failure. And it's like a super edited video. So you don't even know if that's true. But also, that's not very impressive because there are a wide swath of guns that will go 1,000 rounds without failure, right? And it's just funny that it's Taurus. And then they have like notorious cheater Matt Little doing the testing, which we've talked about Matt Little on the show, but he's notorious for cheating in USPSA, and they have him doing the test.
Yeah. No conflict of interest there. Isn't he sponsored shooter?
He of course he is, but he's on the Taurus team, right? Which is why they give it to him to do it. But it's funny that they're like, no other manufacturer has ever done this rigorous of an endurance test on their pistols. And today we have a highly edited video of a cheater shooting 1,000 rounds without failure on the new Taurus GX9. It's like, the Mark 23 would like to have a word. Yeah,
I think gone are the days of people claiming 1,000 rounds is a lot of rounds on something. It's like, okay, cool, 1,000 rounds. That's like 2.5 USPSA matches.
Well, to your average Taurus owner, 1,000 rounds is a lot.
Yeah, that's actually probably a good point. A lot to some people, still 1,000 rounds is a lot of shooting, and I get it. People are busy; they don't have a lot of extra cash. Money is tight. The economy is not great. Yada yada yada. But again, to people who shoot, like actually shoot, like 1,000 rounds is, to me, yeah, it's a week basically, maybe 2 if I'm like, doing different stuff, but it's not that much. Now it's in terms of specs, it's really boring. It's like, hey, yay, we have a roughly 4-inch barrel, 15 round capacity. It's optics cut, and it still looks like an FN handgun, and it has a 5-pound trigger. Now, interestingly, maybe troubling so, there might be something missing from the trigger guard. Let me see when you guys notice what it's missing.
No dingus dongus.
Yes, I've seen this design before, good sir. And I don't like it. But yeah, it looks to borrow the takedown system and trigger system from a 320. Now, I don't think it's a chassis, or I'm not sure if it's a chassis, but I don't think it's the same chassis as a 320, but it's interesting. Yeah, just no dingus in there. No debongus, no dongawongus, no finger binger inside of the trigger guard on the trigger. That's just, it's one of those things.
Are we going to take bets on how long until we see the first testicular torsion for a 509 or a 309?
That I'm not sure. Now, it is a different system because it is internal hammer. However, I don't know how it's still a 5-pound trigger. So whether it's internal hammer or striker, like no safety at all, like because there's no trigger safety. I'm sure there's some
hammer,
sort of
single action only. So that's going to be pre-cocked hammer.
If it's only 5 pounds, it's got to be partially pre-cocked, right?
The ones that I've seen like this before that have the internal hammer like that are usually double action. So it's a
right.
It's a much heavier trigger pull.
I had a Sky at one point, but that was like a 12-pound trigger, right? With like a 1-inch trigger pull.
Well, even the Taurus G2 and G3s are they had the double action on those, and it's like
no Dick Speeder, everyone in the chat, no, I understand that it's like the 320 and the 365. I'm telling you that has led to problems though, so I don't like that it's like a 365 and a 320, right? I have a 320 on my desk right now. I don't like that it's the same as a 320 or a 365. That's what I'm telling you. Zanico, I mean, he listen, okay, if it's a 5-pound trigger, and the argument for the P320, why juries have said that it's defectively designed with no external safeties, right? Even if there is a external safety option, that's not what most people are going to be buying, right? Like somebody carrying this in their pants or in their pocket, or just, something gets in the trigger guard in the holster, something like that, and there's nothing to mechanically stop that trigger from moving, right? I think it's just less safe than other designs, right? Which is why I personally totally fine with a little trigger dingus, with the blade safety, whatever else it might be. I think that's a good design at 99% of the time. All right. It's fine. Do you think the 320s can hear you? I hope so. I hope they can hear me. Well, Grandpa's revolver didn't have a dingus, but it was also a 12-pound double action trigger, right? And if you wanted it in single action, then you had to manually put it into single action, right? But yeah, it's now there's something also interesting, which just means that it has like a lower powered recoil spring, which is totally fine. I think a lot of guns are oversprung from the factory. It's the easy rack system. So what's their faces? Walther had the F models, which were literally the female models that have the easy rack. What does Smith and Wesson just calls theirs the EZ models, right? Like that's it. It's called
it's like the Easy Shield
Easy.
or Easy 380.
Yeah, and they have a mechanism in there that makes it easier for it to cock, but also have a grip safety, which kind of defeats the purpose because it's the grip safety doesn't.
I always look at those in stores and I'm like, that's kind of neat because it's like a slim, 9mm 380 and it's like really easy. So I can get that for my wife. And then I'm like, with a grip safety though, like why are we making it more complex now?
Yeah, that was
friend has one. I shot it and it shot nice.
Yeah, I like them. Like I shot a performance center version of one and it was boarded on like I think it was the 9mm version.
Barrel.
But yeah, I was like, well, no, they come in longer variation. You can get them in threaded barrels. I think 3.5, like 19-inch size.
The one that I got a chance to shoot was a 380 with like a 2.7-inch barrel or something like that, but it was ported, and I absolutely hated it. But my buddy was like, "Oh, I bought it for my wife, and she shot it once, and she's like, it digs into my hand. I don't like it. The grip safety is awful."
I mean, but I hope it's fine. But man, it's like I don't know who is asking for a cheaper version of a 509. Like, and it's the 309. So they came out with a worse version of the 509. I don't know. Was there a hole in the market? Because even 509s, like you can find them for 550, 600, 650 roughly. I just don't know who was asking for this from FN. It's like, can we get the SCAR back? Here you go. Here's a cheap pistol. That's not even that
I
cheap.
bet it's probably the same people who bought the Guardian are now saying they want a pistol to match it.
That's actually funny because the Guardian and the 309 are in the very same vein, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's. I think that's who that's just marketed towards.
Oh, really? That's very interesting. Thank you for sending this over. I will have to. Somebody just sent this to me because I hadn't had this pulled up yet, but I guess I can move on to this real fast. HoloSun Ames Micro. So this is their pistol enclosed.
Somebody was
Ames.
me.
Oh, did you just send that to me?
Yeah, I literally just sent it to you.
Oh, okay. My bad. I have like 100 unread messages that I struggle to go through every day. Also, everybody, if you could standardize your YouTube names with your Discord names, with your Instagram names, so I could keep you all together, right, and know who you are, because I have that same thing happen.
I sent it to you on my what is it, the private Instagram account that's locked for my family and stuff like that. So
yeah, well, that's like, don't message me during the show, otherwise it pops up on stream. But no, that's not true, Chud. I do look at your reels. Okay, I'm working on it. Okay, there's a lot to go through. Yeah, the Ames Micro. It's like, okay, this is an interesting one. Why?
yeah, let's make a small subcompact handgun, with a fucking mailbox on the top of it. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, but even within their own lineup, it's like you have the 5090, you have the EPS carry. So we already have an Acro style dot, but now we have an even smaller, is this a unique footprint? So I'm confused. All new Ames Micro delivers superior reticle clarity, smart power management, blah, 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 blah. Large window, 7.7.71 is very small. Automatic light sensor, 7075, that's fine. Okay, so it is its own unique pattern. Yeah, because you need a enclosed optic on your deep carry gun, right? So this is a RMSC to Ames micro adapter plate. New standard for big performance in a micro footprint, new standard for rugged micro enclosed pistol optics. So Ames micro adapter plate.
I don't get it.
Now
I have a shield, and it's my EDC gun, and I carry the, what is it, Pro Mags or whatnot, makes the 10-round mags for it. That's what I carry in it. I'm not putting a fucking mailbox on the top of the gun. Like the gun is so easy just to throw in, like I said, a cargo pants or blue jeans pants pockets if I need it, or just I can tuck it in a pair of freaking basketball shorts or gym shorts, and it disappears. Why do I want to put this thing on the top of it?
Yeah, I mean it's a weird design choice because again we already have the EPS carry, which is already RMS. That's not RMSC. I forget what pattern it is, but or maybe it is RMSC. Yeah, so why do we have this at all? Now, the one thing that I will say is that at least from this photo, if this is a real photo and not a generation, it looks like they have done a ghost plate, which is a plate that is so small and like it's designed in such a way to where it doesn't add any height to the optic, because it's basically like 2 screws go into a thing that gives you a mounting block and that's it, which is fine. But if that's the case, I mean, that's like a nice touch on the Ames micro, but I also don't know who the target audience is for this. So it is not acro. It is not acro. Yeah, that's also, I do want to point that out. You did say you carry a Pro Mag in your carry gun.
Yeah, it's they offer, what is it, like a 10-round, it's like a 10-round extended mag for the shield. Work great. Like I've got, gosh, I think I've probably got 2,500 rounds through my shields and those two mags. No issues with them. So yeah, give me shit all you want. Pro mags, go fuck yourselves. They work.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, defend it now. Well, you carry your original shield then, not because the Shield Plus is like the same gun, just in 1.5 stack. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the original shields from way back when they came out. Because I got pissed off because I couldn't find like the +1 mags from M&P in stock. The 8-rounders with like the little extenders. So I was like, oh, I'll just buy 2 of these Pro Mags and see how they work, and they've been working great for me. So I was like, fuck it, they work.
Survivor's bias, dude. Survivor's bias. That's good. Oh
When-
my
when you-
gosh.
When you read my obituary, you'll be like, now he
Dude,
figured it out.
that's gonna be the meme. It's like, oh, Ben's not in chat tonight. He got into an altercation. He got stabbed to death because his Pro Mag went click no bang on the 2nd round. God wanted me to live. It's true. Sheer providence that Ben is still alive right now, dude. Literally killed in the streets for carrying one of those.
It'll be funny if you feel like, oh, fuck you guys, I'm gonna make an Instagram video to show the mags work, and then it's click.
Well, this is a wacky thing. So we have a little bit of an update here in Minneapolis. Thank you, Matthew, for sending this over. But there is a new shooting involving a federal officer that this just happened. A shooting of a Venezuelan immigrant, awkwardly enough. Actually, no, let me download this because I hate having to deal with Instagram's UI when it takes me like 5 to 15 seconds to download the video. So we're just going to skip this. But this is an update from Tesseron News. Update: a Venezuelan national in Minneapolis was shot in the thigh by a federal law enforcement officer during an immigration enforcement operation on the 600 block of North 24 Avenue near North area. Let me pull this up real fast once this downloads. All right. And there it is. Whoa. Loud noises in my ear.
Rip
Let me
headphone
turn that
users.
down. Yeah, sorry about that, dogs. Rip your neighbors. Yeah, the people are upset now. The thigh, boo, boo. Wait, a federal officer shot suspect in Minneapolis after shovel ambush.
Mostly
I need the full story on this. Let me see if I can find like an interview.
I don't know what they're going to be upset about on this one. I mean, he literally did what Joe Biden told him to do. All those years he kept saying, shoot him in the leg, shoot him in the leg. We finally shoot him in the leg, and then there's riot anyway.
Completely justified, perfect use of force, no questions asked.
Let me see. Do we have the? Is this the video? Where's the video on it? Of course. I'm gonna cry. Are you gonna make me watch an ad?
WCCO News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Frank Vassalero, and we are following breaking news right now out of North Minneapolis. A federal officer has shot someone in a neighborhood of North Minneapolis. This shooting comes exactly 1 week after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good in South Minneapolis. This is a live chopper shot. We're talking about an area of around 24th Avenue North. We already have a statement from the Department of Homeland Security. This all began around 7 o'clock this evening. They tell us that federal law enforcement officers were targeting a traffic stop of what they call an illegal alien from Venezuela. They said
what they call an illegal alien.
These federal officers, they call these people illegals using their fascist rhetoric, and it's very problematic that you would call these Venezuelan gang members illegals. All right. Like, I'm no geography whiz, but Minneapolis to Venezuela is a long walk. Like, it's a long ways, dude.
this person evaded arrest, got out of the car and ran, crashed his vehicle. He said the person then got out and started running on foot. The federal officer caught up to the person who was running away, tried to go ahead and arrest him, and they say he resisted and violently began to assault the officer. They say that while the federal agent was on the ground, there was a struggle, and two people came out of a nearby apartment and then started to attack the federal officer with a snow shovel and a
Two Renee Goods just were observing an ICE agent attempting to detain a Venezuelan, all right, who had already committed multiple crimes, crashed his car, leaving the scene, and they decide to attack the ICE agent with a shovel. That smells like jail time. Yeah, spoiler alert, snow shovel versus Glock does not end well. Yeah.
broom handle. The officer said that he was being attacked by those three people now and fearing for his life, took out his weapon and fired his shots. One hit the original person he was chasing in the leg. They say all three people then ran back in the apartment and barricaded themselves inside. The officer who was attacked trying to make the arrest and also the person from Venezuela who he shot are both in the hospital right now. As you can see, there is a large police presence.
Good on him, because they probably would have killed him.
Yeah, depending on the snow shovel, some of those are no joke. I mean,
Well, I mean, if it's three
if it's a
people
cheap-
literally beating on him and you're one police officer, right, attempting to do your job, and then they literally run back into the apartment complex and barricade themselves in. Like I don't know how it actually played out, but I feel like at that point it's like SWAT and everybody gets called in, and they're removing those people from that building right now. Yeah.
On that entire block, lots of flashing lights, a lot of people who are now alerted to what's going on as well. And of course, this comes 7 days after another shooting involving a federal officer. Our Ashley Grams is on the ground there. She's on the scene near 24th Avenue North in Minneapolis. Ashley, what are you seeing? What can you tell us?
Yeah, Frank, of course, you mentioned that chopper shot. We can see this investigation is still ongoing. We know federal agents and law enforcement are still in this area just behind me, and of course, a crowd of protesters as well. It wasn't long after our photojournalist arrived on scene that other people did as well, and you can probably hear those whistles. We've been hearing those throughout the Twin Cities. Those are supposed to signify the presence of federal law enforcement, and we see a lot of folks here lashing out at these federal agents as they drive in and out of this area. I personally saw someone kicking at a car as federal agents were trying to get through. We've also seen folks pointing fireworks in the direction of these officers as they continue to block off this area. So you can see the crowd gathered here, and there's actually some tape they had up that has now fallen to the ground. A lot of these folks not happy to see these agents here in this neighborhood. They continue to voice their opposition and all.
Well, so I think total amount of ICE officers deployed or DHS agents deployed to Minneapolis specifically right now is 3,000. But 3,000 honestly probably is not enough. As Impact says, yeah, 100 flashing red and blues whistled to signify cops. Yeah. It's so weird that there is and Ben, I don't know how you feel about this as somebody who has to deal with these types of people. It's so weird to me that there is a large percentage of the population, whether it's 20, 30% of like true believers or whatnot, who are so actively taking part in the disruption of the legal removal of people who do not have a right to be here.
It's frustrating. Luckily, where I work, we do not deal with this because of the population density being about one person per square mile.
Yeah, that does help, right? Yeah, for sure.
And it being a huge farming community. So like, yeah, do we have I'm not blind to the fact, are there probably illegal immigrants working on the farms? 100%. But are they keeping themselves in line and actually doing work and actually making money and keeping themselves out of trouble? Exactly.
Well,
they're
there's
doing
kind of
that.
like
They're not causing problems.
There's kind of like a critical mass, right? It's like when there's 4 people in your community, it's like that's not that big of a deal, right? It's really not. But when it's, well, we commit $25 billion of fraud a year in your city, it's like, okay, well, we got problems now. Now we gotta do something about this.
It's hard to stand up a fake farm and be like, oh yeah, give us all your money and grant money.
Mm-hmm. This is funny. Red Right Hand says, "Don't quote laws to men with swords. Nay, don't quote laws to men with shovels." How about that? You shoot them.
Also aggression at times. We know that there was a armored car who actually tried to come around here, get into this area. Our photojournalist saw that armored car surrounded, and he said it eventually turned around. You might be able to see that sign there kind of on the right of this crowd. It says ICE out now, and that's what some of these protesters are trying to communicate. Now, we have seen these folks moving around because this is a pretty large area. We've got several streets blocked off here. At times they say, we see ICE agents on this side, come to this side. So this group is fluidly moving around this area trying to oppose these agents at this point. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on what we see here. We have seen what appears to be tear gas that's been deployed, as well as some flashbangs as well, as this crowd continues to clash with agents in this area. Frank, back to you.
Ashley, I know I probably have more facts about what happened than you did since you've been out there, but did you see an ambulance? Did you see anyone being put into it? We understand that this Venezuelan immigrant or possibly undocumented Venezuelan was shot in the leg by ICE. Did you see? And then we also understand the ICE agent had to go to the hospital as well. Did you see anyone getting taken away by ambulance earlier?
I personally did not see an ambulance, and actually a lot of people here on scene seem to be trying to determine what's going on for themselves as well. A lot of people out here unsure of what happened inside this area that's under investigation.
Oh, so those folks might not even be aware of what went down. They just see the presence of ICE and they're reacting.
Sure, that could be why some of the folks are out here. They hear those whistles, they come out to ask what's going on. There are other people who seem to understand that there is some kind of possibly, a shooting going on with law enforcement. But a lot of people out here who are responding, you're walking past us, trying to ask questions, trying to figure out what's going on. And of course, we're trying to do that as well.
Yeah, I get it. We saw that chopper shot, Ashley, just so you're aware, on one of the parallel streets to where you are, we saw several law enforcement vehicles with flashing lights heading down that way. I don't know if their intent is to try to get their own people out or try to go ahead and disperse these protesters. But I know this is now spread into.
Woman with a pink hat.
What's that?
Classic shot of an obese white woman with a pink hat.
Of course, many such cases. Yeah, people saying wood in the chat to that fine young lady. That's an average Midwestern girl. All right, she's very fine, very nice. Sure, she's a wonderful young lady. But yeah, I want to. Is there any additional information on this? Apparently, let me see real fast. This is the flashbang part. Okay, so apparently they were using flashbangs against the protesters. Let me pull that video back up real fast. Where did I put it? I keep getting jump scared by that. So this. Oh my gosh, that hurts. So this is just the flashbang portion of it. So is this ICE here? Yes? Okay, and that's them getting their. That's getting
that's
their.
Definitely a flashbang.
Yeah. Now, what's funny is there just one random plainclothes guy here, or is that just a coat covering up his uniform? Because he's also like one of the few guys without a gas mask.
He
The guy's in the back now.
Plainclothes.
He was at bowling practice before this, so he just
called him
threw on what he had. Yeah, as you can see by that perfect form there.
Now here's a question: if a cop throws a deterrent at a group of protesters, like some sort of noxious gas or something like that, and the protesters throw it back, is that throwing it back a crime? I know some people in the chat are eager to throw it back, but if you throw something back at a police officer, is that frowned upon?
Yeah, it's frowned upon. I mean, if they try and throw the flashbang back, it's going to go off in their hands. So that's going to be kind of funny. But and then like tear gas and CS gas, those things are pretty freaking hot when they're going off. So, oh my god,
new match target
Oh
coming
my
out
God.
for everybody. This is going to be part of your training from now on, Ben. All right, going to be needed. New targets at my local match. Yeah, it's
dual-ended shovel. Oh my god.
That's good. It's good. The Minnesota shoveler. Okay, got to watch out for that guy, dude. Playing hot potato. Yeah, hot potato with a flashbang or with a gas grenade. Very fun stuff.
Well, it's also interesting to see because I'm assuming the guy that bowled, we saw bowling, whatever it was the guy that chucked the flashbang.
Yeah.
But normally that's not what you're supposed to do with those because, like, if you're using them as distraction devices to clear houses, you're not chucking them into the house. You're literally dropping it in the frame of the door, like right into the frame, like 1 foot into the house because you don't want to start. There's case law out there about like SWAT teams chucking flashbangs through windows and ending up in like babies' cribs and causing all sorts of terrible, horrible injuries. And so like that.
Well, I think that was part of that video. Is I think some of those women they've been doing the thing where they bring their babies to the ICE protest.
Yeah,
Have you
that's
seen that?
freaking despicable. Freaking despicable.
Yeah, and so that some of those women might have been carrying children, which is just 100% on them. They're just evil, disgusting parents. Yeah, they're using their babies as body shields for the individuals who should not be here. Yeah, I'm trying to be very nice.
Yeah, I don't strap my daughter to my chest when I'm at work. So, come on.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. We're 3 hours and 15 minutes deep right now. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Ben, for coming on. Hopefully solving some of your boredom, but we're going to finish up here and hop on out, gentlemen. All right. Modern Frontier Project for 5 says we're paying $5 so Cody doesn't have to do it. All right, fair enough. $5 now. Cody does not have to make a water-cooled machine gun. I'm glad we got that sorted out for Cody. He was this close to having to do it. JCam over on Ko-Fi says, I know Arrow has been getting a lot of shade lately, but WTF happened to all the hand guards? Mod 4 version only? Really? What's the scoop? Well, the scoop is that their old hand guards were not very good and not selling very well. And so I think they are going to be solidifying around their Mod 4 lineup. And, but they've been having trouble keeping anything in stock. So I think the Mod 4s have probably been at least better sellers for them. And they are the better hand guard, to be fair. So I think they're just going to try and keep chucking along with that. That would be my guess. I don't have any sort of special inside information on that. Space Cowboy over on Rumble talks about the FN 309, which is, again, another one of the many no one asks for this awards. Says could be an enclosed hammer, not a striker fired. Yes, it is internal hammer fired for sure. Subarctic Psycho for 5 says John is just mad because he can't handle the immense power of 10mm. It'd hurt him and then he'd cry. That's not true. I haven't cried since the last time I shot 10mm, Subarctic. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Students of Violence says, if they called it 1 centimeter instead of 10mm, it'd stop all the overcompensators from buying it. That's true, dude. They should just call it centimeter. Dude, April Fool's joke. Hornady needs to come out with the centimeter, right? And it's just 10mm, all it is. And they hype it up like it's the next new best thing. The
That's what
centimeter.
Archcom did for like 2 years.
Okay.
Let's call it the centimeter, and I swear they single-handedly boosted 10mm sales.
The centimeter, the newest in handgun power stopping technology. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Modern Frontier Project for 2 says no trigger dingus on my desk fidget toy. Well, I have 2 desk fidget toys right now. One of them is a clock. The other is a P320. So one of them doesn't have a finger dingus. Moonman for 5 says wild. FN is really innovating with what appears to be a plastic pistol. Never been done before. True. Internal hammer is like mildly interesting, I guess, in terms of, the wide variety of striker fired pistols on the market, but it's not that novel. Thank you, Moonman. Moonman for another 5 says, I second to Moko. Skip the slop and get to something good and interesting. Dude, you can't be saying that when we spent like 2 hours of the stream before you showed up going over all sorts of fun stuff that you just happened to miss. I mean, you could have been right here along with us making fun of this man running for the first time, but you missed it, all right? That's not on us, all right? I'm sorry. Can't stop the show for you, Moonman. You missed it. Thank you, Moonman. Moonman, part of the 5, says, why do we have this at all? He asks after nothing but whomst even asked for this products, like the fool he is. That's true. I mean, listen, SHOT Show is all about new releases of products that are within 10% margin of error between the products that they're either replacing, superseding, or moving alongside. Okay, so it's a lot of who is this for? who asked for this, and we're going to be doing it for a whole week straight. All right, Moon Man. I have 4 days until I'm in Vegas in a hotel somewhere and then in an Airbnb somewhere. And that's all we're going to be talking about is literally who asked for this. And it's going to be great. You're going to be there the whole time. Thanks, Moon Man. Zany for 2 says, show the X post I shared, riots in MN. Okay. I'll take a look. I'll see if I can find it real fast.
I believe he said he has a better angle of it, is what he was saying.
Zanico, where are you? Did you message me? Shared.
It might be on Discord that he shared it. I'll have to check. Give me 1 second.
Well, he didn't. If I don't have the DM, I can't do anything with it. So I don't see it on Twitter or on Discord. So if Richard can put the link in the private chat, I will take a look at it. Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate it, sir. Moonman for 5 says, I am simply demanding that the people I hate play silly games with the other people I hate. Blood in discreets or don't call me. Moonman, as a federal agent, like you have to have one of the most like love-hate relationships with your job, right? Because on one hand, you're part of the gay federal apparatus. And then on the other hand, you want to make it the based federal apparatus. Okay. So it's like you see what you're doing and where you want to go, but then you're not able to take it there. So it must be very frustrating. Yeah. Thank you, Moonman. Subarctic Psycho for 2 says, Ashley, more like Smashly, or if you're Garantha, more like Passly. Tragic. Thank you, Subarctic Psycho. Appreciate you, sir. Zanico for 2 says, Johnny, I posted a better view on X. Do I have to go physically to your account? Oh, actually, that is good. I have to go to your account and you tagged me. Okay, I see it now. I got it. All right, Zanico. Pulling it up right now. Look at this.
Oh, I got hit in the head really bad. Oh, no fucking shit. You were standing there, dude.
Yeah, we can see that, sir, by the explosions going off next to you. Oh, there you go. Right on him.
Oh, I got hit in the head really bad. Fuck. Out of the blue, police are moving forward.
Do those hurt when they go off next to you?
Yeah.
They got you, right?
A buddy of mine, fun fact, he was involved in an incident where police were doing a raid on his neighbor's house, and a flashbang came through his window by mistake and blew one of his toes off.
Oh,
it landed on the edge of his bed while he was sleeping.
Shit.
Yeah,
jeez,
it blew his pinky toe off.
Yikes! Ivan
sue
says
the
toddler.
agency?
What was that?
He should.
Did he sue the agency?
I would say,
Oh yeah. He's loaded.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, he's driving around in a brand new Audi right now.
Well, okay.
That
Would
sucks.
you trade your big toe, your right big toe, for an Audi or similar?
It was his pinky toe. It wasn't even his.
Oh, is
big
his pinky toe? That
Wasn't
makes
even
it
his-
easier.
Oh, in a
Okay,
heartbeat.
yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Your left pinky toe for a brand new
100%.
Audi or similar car.
100%. Yep, I'd do it.
I think that's fair. I think it's a fair trade, like 80 grand or something like that. It's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ivan says toddlers don't offer much ballistic protection anyway. Yeah, I don't think a lot of these women are thinking with their heads. Ask Renee Good because it has a couple extra holes in it. Tragic. Would trade Richard's whole ass foot for a used Honda Civic, to be honest. Damn, all right. Hey, Moonman, it was for your own body parts, not for other people. Okay, it's like, you know what? Selling 1 kidney, okay, hero, virtuous. Selling 20 kidneys, and now you got questions, okay? And you got people breaking down your door and jury trials and all this other stuff, okay? Right?
I need
I don't
that
get the
foot.
big deal.
That's all I'm gonna say is I need that foot. I might have to sacrifice it later on to the gods of diabetes.
Yeah, gotta have one to sacrifice at some point.
Yeah.
Just a little harvesting. All right, gentlemen. Ben, what do you got coming up? Anything you wanna shout out, Mister Stuck in a Hotel, before we get out of here?
I'm continuing to be stuck in a hotel to the end of the week, and I can't wait for the pending shit shows that await me when I return to work on Monday.
That's going to be a fun time. Yeah, that's the best part. You get away for a little while and you're mega bored, and then you come back, and then everything that hasn't gotten done gets piled up, and then you're expected to catch up like on day one. And it's like, oh, thank you for this.
Yeah, what is it? Everybody wanted to send open records requests apparently this week, so I have 5 of them pending.
Nice paperwork. Richard, what do you got going on, homie?
Well, tomorrow I've got the video coming out with Amelia, everybody's favorite new character. So if you guys would go over and watch that, leave a comment, thumbs up, really appreciate it. It really helps us out.
I just dropped the link in chat for Focus Clips. Was it today or yesterday? I put up the video for the Sons of Liberty Gun Works Mark 1. I'll be shooting it again tomorrow. I got some other stuff to be shooting tomorrow as well. CAC actually overnighted me some parts to fix my AR9, so thank you to CAC for doing that. Much appreciated. And yeah, so there'll be more content coming that I got to finish before SHOT Show. And then Sunday night, I'll be in Vegas hanging out with the boys, probably try and do something. And then it's all next week. So it'll be a very fun, very busy time. Just got to get a couple last things done before I go. With all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you to the guests on the panel. Thank you for you guys hanging out, supporting, being extremely generous, allowing us to do what we need to do here. It is not unnoticed. It is highly, highly appreciated. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. We will see you on Friday. With all that out of the way, God bless and Godspeed, gents.